come to give you what you love. It's time to give you what you love. I'ma give you what you love. Give you what you love.
I did not expect this to be as hard as it is. I thought I was going to power through all of this and I didn't want to take the day off. So y'all, I need your love and warmth and prayers today because you're going to see a lot of tears. And I didn't think it would happen so quickly because I haven't even begun to talk about what's going on. But you are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on wordradio.com. Oh. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. If you are hearing the sound of my voice, I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and yes, I am incredibly sad today. I'm going to try and make it through the show because I need to talk about what happened, and I'm going to try. There's something that I need to read to you because there is a press release coming out at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Come on, Andrea, get it together. Come on, girl, breathe. There is a press release that's coming out at 2 o'clock today about the Philly fighting COVID, and I began reading the pieces around it. Just before I got on the air, and you know, I'm going to read a little bit of it to you, and I'll be the first to tell you if I owe Dr. Farley an apology, he will absolutely get it, but I need to go through this and hear what all the the pieces are of it, and I'm going to read some of it to you. The thing is at 2 o'clock today. And so this is what I got for immediate release. The Office of the Inspector General Investigation of Philadelphia Department of Public Health and the Philly Fighting COVID relationship reveals procedural deficiencies and lack of transparency. The City of Philadelphia, so this was sent by Brian.Tom at Philadelphia.gov. The City of the Philadelphia Office of the Inspector General reports evidence of procedural deficiencies and lack of transparency after initiating an investigation into the relationship between the Philadelphia Department of Public Health Department and the local organization Philly Fighting COVID. The City of Philadelphia Office of the Inspector General announced today the initial results of an ongoing investigation into the relationship between the Philadelphia Health Department and the local organization Philly Fighting COVID, finding a lack of procedural safeguards in the decision to engage PFC as a vaccinating partner. The investigation revealed that the health department properly awarded PFC a contract to conduct COVID-19 testing during the early stages of the organization's relationship with the city. However, the health department did not follow any formal or structural contracting procedure when working with PFC, that's Philly Fighting COVID, to establish a mass vaccination clinic in January of 2021. While they ensured that the medical staff of Philly Fighting COVID's leadership were appropriately licensed and qualified to administer vaccination, the health department failed to exercise due diligence in vetting PFC and its CEO, Andre Dorshin. They ignored numerous red flags that should have been considered before asking PFC to run a mass vaccination clinic. The OIG report finds that Dr. Thomas Farley, Commissioner, acted appropriately within the leadership structure he established in his department and took no action that would violate any laws, rules, or regulations governing the vaccination or contracting process. However, the OIG recommends that the health department conduct additional trainings for all employees involved. Oh, thank you, Michael. I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying. The OIG recommends that the health department conducts additional training for all employees involved in the contracting process, particularly related to emergent contract procedures to assist with a swift emergency response. So now I'm going to go over here and read to you some of this stuff because I don't think many of you will be able to see. Oh my gosh, y'all are not praying hard enough for me. All right, so I'm going to read some of this for you because it was a comprehensive report. At the very beginning of it, it says the majority of the interviews were of city employees and embedded contractors, except where noted in the text, and some subjects were interviewed multiple times. Andre Dorshin has not yet provided testimony to the Office of the Inspector General. Now, I want you to see what's happening here, and it is important to me to read this, which is why I say if at some point I owe Dr. Farley an apology, he will get it, because what I will do is not sit and hide behind. If I am wrong, I will tell you where I am wrong. If I see where I make mistakes, I'll tell you where I made mistakes. So I'm reading this now, and I'm going to give you the first 3 pages of it so you can understand. I want you all to pay close attention. On April 15, 2020, Philly Fighting COVID was first incorporated. Andre Dorshin, a graduate student of Drexel University, founded the group as a nonprofit organization for charitable purposes under PA Code section whatever. In public statements, Dorshin noted that he first organized PFC to respond to the dire need for personal protective equipment at the time, PPE. And after using private funds and donations, PFC, Philly Fighting COVID, initially focused on manufacturing face shields for local hospitals and healthcare workers. Most of the organization's original staff were contemporaries of Dorshin's, including some local nurses, medical students, and engineering students. At some point in June 2020, Dorshin oriented PFC's operation away from the manufacturing of face shields and turned to focus on COVID-19 testing. After obtaining test kits from Quest Diagnostics, PFC opened and operated an independent testing site in Fishtown at the Fillmore Theater. There, PFC worked with medical volunteers to offer COVID-19 testing for the local community. Keep paying attention. The health department's chief testing and surveillance officer, a resident of Fishtown, became aware of the Fillmore Theater testing operation through word of mouth and social media, and she saw the site at some point in June. The health department employee later reached out to Dorshin to inquire about PFC's operation and capacity. Dorshin provided some basic contents about the Philly Fighting COVID testing site and asked the chief testing officer about potential funding opportunities. At the time, there was an open and public RFP, request for proposals for COVID-19 testing contracts, administered via the Philadelphia Mental Health Care Corporation, PMHCC. The Health Department of Chief's Testing Officer informed Dorshin about the opportunity and noted that paying attention. It says, one of the notes, it says that although PFC is organized as a nonprofit corporation under Commonwealth law, the IRS database shows that the company is not tax exempt as of March 2nd, 2021. It also says, although the contract was formally administered by PMHCC, the submissions were evaluated and scored by a team of 5 health department employees, including the chief testing officer who initiated contact with Philly Fighting COVID. Neither Commissioner Thomas Farley nor Deputy Commissioner Carolyn Johnson was on the selection panel, although Dr. Farley reviewed the panel score sheet and authorized the final awards. The selection panel reviewed and scored the applications on the basis of 9 substantive criteria, and those of the selection panel generally noted that cost per test and testing capacity volume were the primary drivers of these initial contract decisions. For the most part, the selection panel conducted very little independent research on the applications. They did not perform checks for things like insurance coverage. Most of the research was limited to simple Google searches for background on the organization's current operations, and many of the firms were already known to the health department through prior work in and around Philadelphia. With respect to PFC, Philly Fighting COVID, the panel noted that there was a significant weight given to the fact that they already had an up and running testing operation, unlike some other applicants. Philly Fighting COVID had a lab agreement in place with Quest Diagnostics, something I can't understand because he was 22 with no medical, but okay, probably something in the background. An existing location and an identified nurse practitioner as the organization's prescribing agent. Based primarily on these considerations, the panel approved Philly Fighting COVID's application, and Dr. Farley later agreed. On July 20th, 2020, the health commissioner notified Dorshin via letter that PFC was approved for up to $194,234 in available funding to conduct COVID-19 testing, and PMHCC executed a formal 6-month contract shortly thereafter. Although the contract did not specify the precise testing site locations in Philadelphia, Philly Fighting COVID represented that the organization Philly Fighting COVID represented that the organization would focus on underserved communities and frontline healthcare workers. Philly Fighting COVID was approved for up to 59 testing events and sites with input from the health department about dates, times, and specific locations. Keep following me. I'm going somewhere with this. After the testing events, PFC was to submit invoices with supporting documentation like cost receipts and staff time sheets in order to receive payment. A specific health department employee who reported to the chief testing officer was PFC's primary point of contact and was tasked with reviewing, approving all of the firm's invoices for payment. It says here in the notations that the selection panel was racially and organizationally diverse, and that, okay, so then here we go. Health Department and PMHCC employees who worked with Doroshin and other Philly Fighting COVID representatives during the testing period consistently described the relationship as challenging, especially in the early process. Philly Fighting COVID was new to city contract procedure and reportedly struggled to submit timely and complete invoices. Health department staff frequently had to issue follow-up requests for supporting documents, primarily timesheets. Doroshin specifically was described as unprofessional and rather aggressive with respect to payment turnaround, and some city staff suspected that this to be indicative of a lack of financial stability within the PFC business organization. Notably, the health department contract managers approved an initial payment to Philly Fighting COVID of $18,000 in administrative fees. Other testing contractors prorated this administrative fee across the life of the 6-month term, as was the health department's general practice. Doroshin, however, pressed the department for this early payment to cover some of his more immediate staff costs. To avoid unnecessary interruptions in testing services, the chief testing officer agreed after consulting with her supervisors. In August 2020, PFC began its work under the testing contract, although operationally the organization was still focused on the already established Fillmore Theater site in Fishtown. Health department representatives encouraged PFC to expand to other locations so the organization could meet the needs of certain underserved communities, as Philly Fighting COVID previously agreed. In late August, representatives from the South Street Head House District learned about Philly Fighting COVID through social media and reached out via Facebook to inquire about the prospect of a testing event in Society Hill. Dealing primarily with PFC's chief operating officer at the time, the South Street Head House District, SSHD, and PFC agreed to hold walk-up and drive-up testing on September 1st and 3rd, 2020 in an open-air shambles on 2nd Street south of Pine Street. PFC successfully held the testing events as scheduled and performed roughly 200 to 250 tests over the 2 days. SSHD, however, later fielded a number of complaints from community members who expressed concern about Philly Fighting COVID's proximity to an outdoor children's event that also took place on September 3rd. They reached out to him, told him that he could do this. They also called him and told him that the city of Philadelphia has not authorized testing at that location and would not reimburse him for any costs associated with those events. The director explained that city funding testing was to be prioritized in underserved areas, not Society Hill. Doroshin was reportedly frustrated with this decision, and he later posted a number of statements on its Facebook page criticizing the decision to cease the Head House Square testing events. And so, you know, I just, so that you get a general idea, Facebook page, Council Member Squilla mediated this dispute, and on September 15, PFC issued a statement together with the council member and SSHD. The joint statement noted that PFC would no longer operate the Head House Square site, but would continue to seek testing opportunities in South Philadelphia. By November 2020, PFC expanded to other testing sites across the city, and in late November, the organization held a series of mass testing sites at the intersections of 6th Street and Erie Avenue in North Philadelphia in collaboration with the Latino Connection. Health Department employees credited. Can you tell Dr. Aya to mute her thing for me, please? I can hear her. And so they kept going on, troubling testing experiences, da 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 da. So I need to finish reading this, but I just wanted to give you a brief example of what's happening. If you want to be a part of that conversation today, Inspector General DeSantis is answering questions today via Microsoft Teams. If you want to be a part of that, brian.tom@phila.gov for virtual meeting details. I think that's where you're going to get all the meeting details for that. Now I'm going to pivot a little bit because I'm getting ready to take a break, and I'm going to ask that you bear with me. I have Dr. Aya on to help me walk through this piece. On Saturday morning, I was on my way into town to look for some stuff with a friend of mine, and I stopped by Woody. Woody calls this radio station every single day just about while I'm on the air, and had been asking me for over a year to stop by and see the shop. And so on Saturday, I decided to surprise him, and I walked into Woody's shop. It was an amazing experience. I got to take pictures of the place. It's a walk-in museum. Woody knows this city and loves this city, and he was so stunned to see me. It was absolutely worth the surprise visiting him. And so Woody and I talked for a little bit, and I got to tell you, he's everything he says he is, and even so much more. I got to see all the people that he had met and known over the years. I got to, the barbershop, literally, they should turn it into a museum, right? He was so accommodating and kind, and, you know, Woody was Woody, right? He was like, I wish I could hug you, too, Woody, but COVID, you know. And so I said goodbye to Woody and went on about my business, and it was on that second stop, while conducting some business, I got a phone call that slammed me. You see, okay, Andrea, okay. I have a friend that I had been mentoring since the early 2000s, like late 2000, closer to 2010. She reached out to me. Her name was Leah Dawes, and I said was because the last time I saw Leah was when I did a Facebook event, a Facebook Live event about a Black business in Philadelphia, in West Philadelphia, to promote the business, because, you know, Black businesses here struggle a lot, especially after COVID, and we're only 2% of the population here in the city of Philadelphia. And so I did the Facebook Live event, and Leah called another mutual friend of ours, Angela, and they came to the store, and we had a wonderful time. She had a hat in her hand. I took the hat off, took the hat out of her hand. I took my wig off and threw the hat on, and she put the wig on, and we were all laughing and having a good time. Later on that day, this was about 9 days ago, she called me and she says, you know, it's been a while. I've talked to you more than I see you, but it was just so good to see you. I'm telling you all of this stuff because I need us to pay attention and to not just say we love people, but really mean it. Saturday, 7 days later, exactly 7 days after the day I first saw her, I got a call, and the person on the and another friend of ours is screaming, and she's like, she told me Leah passed away. And I got to tell you all, whew. It took me 4 hours to get home that day. I was so devastated. I kept screaming in my car. I came so close to getting into several car accidents. I had to pull my car over and just sit down, because the Leah I saw 7 days ago looked fine to me. Leah woke up and was not able to breathe, and by the time they called the ambulance and got her to the hospital, her heart had stopped. And so I couldn't deal. I literally, the only time I got out of my bed was to get up and do the radio show today, right? And I asked Dr. Ayo to come on and talk about the grieving process, and I'm being really transparent with all of you because, okay. I'm trying, guys, I'm trying. I thought I had cried everything I was going to cry today. Leah meant the world to so many of us. She left her young daughter. She had one child. And most people did not know the things that she did because she was so quiet in doing what she did. When I had my book signing, Leah showed up with, over 200 people showed up, and Leah had food for everybody, wouldn't accept any money. She was there when my husband needed her. She made him laugh. She made us all laugh. She was deadpan. She was, dry as toast. When I first heard that she passed away, I was like, oh my God, I just want to take off my clothes and scream and run down the street. And all I could hear her saying in my head was, don't do that. Don't do that, Andrea. That's not a good look. took, and that made me smile. You know, she was amazing. She sat on the Upper Darby School Board. She called me when she told me that they asked her to apply, and she didn't want to do it. And I said, "Go apply. What's the worst they can tell you? No." And she was unanimously adopted to that board, and they too fell in love with her after getting past her dry as toast place. So I am going to take a quick break. I want to thank you all for bearing with me. And then when we come back, we'll have Dr. Ayo on. She was gracious in reaching out. When I reached out to her, she was gracious in accepting that we need to talk about the grief process because and what we should look for and how we should go through this, okay? And I want to thank you all. You are listening to The Source. 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
Hey, WURD family. Our friends at Amoroso's Baking Company are hiring right now. Amoroso's has been baking the delicious bread in our community for over 100 years, and they want you to join their team today. The old and the young love Amoroso's, and they are hiring right now. Check it out. They offer fair pay and provide health, dental, and prescription plans after 90 days employment. Call 856-754-0355 or visit amorososbaking.com for details.
Want the latest in WURD swag? Check out the shop tab on WURDradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. The shop tab on WURDradio.com. Show the world that you're all about black. Talk media.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lockville Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. Michael, this will be the time when the commercials are short, right? Where are the 4-minute commercials so I could get myself together and gather all my edges? That's not there. Dr. Ayo, are you there? Open up your phone. Open up your camera and your phone for me, please. I want to thank you.
I'm here.
I want to thank you for agreeing so quickly to do this. I needed someone of color. Who help me?
Just breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Slow, deep breaths and let it out. It's fine. First of all, let me extend my condolences to you and to the family of Miss Leah. Is it Dawes?
Yes.
All right. I extend my condolences. And grief is something that certainly we feel in these kinds of situations, but you can also grieve as a result of other losses. And of course, the first emotion is disbelief. It can't be. I just talked to this person. And that is a normal reaction. The grief that you feel is, first of all, one of not wanting to lose someone you care about. And so you deny that it's happened. You question, could it really be possible? It can't be really possible. They have their facts wrong.
Yes.
Let me clarify it so that I can find out the truth, because that can't be the truth. And that is a normal first reaction to loss. And then as you were talking about your reaction, that was the second stage of the kind of the anger and the yelling and the pain that you feel when you've lost someone. And it certainly sounds like she was an amazing woman, which of course that means she's not only going to have an impact on her family, but her extended family. Everyone who knows her or knows of her work will also be impacted by her physical loss.
Dr. Ayo, can I share
yes.
something with you? When I
Yes.
first learned, I learned minutes after she died.
Yes.
I texted her. I was in such denial. I texted her and I said, what the hell? Wake up, and come on, Leah, stop playing.
Right.
So you're right.
Right.
That denial was really strong. It
Right.
took me until yesterday morning to really believe that she was actually gone. So yes, I agree
Right.
with you. And then I had
Yes.
the anger and the yelling and the pain. What are the next steps?
Well, the anger, the pain are certainly the things that we experience. And then we start even talking about, well, if this isn't true, I'll do this. Just please God, don't make this really happen to my friend or family. And you start thinking about what you'll do, what you'll give up, how you'll change yourself for this not to be true. So you start bargaining and looking for ways to make it not true, to see if you have the power, if you can pray hard enough, if you can at some point be able to give up something or not do something or start doing something just to make that not true. And then, of course, once we realize that it is absolutely true and we have no power to change it, then we start to feel the depression. We start feeling, wow, I've lost this person. This person is no longer going to be there. I'm not going to hear this person's voice or see them anymore. And the pain, once again, becomes a predominant feeling with the depression. And it can affect the way you eat. You can start eating too much, eating too little. You can start gaining weight, losing weight. You can have difficulty sleeping, whether it's falling asleep, staying asleep, sleeping too much. You can have nightmares. So your sleep may be impacted. And certainly we know that grief, depression, these kinds of very strong emotions increase cortisol levels, and our health can be impacted, so that we can have medical conditions as a result of grieving.
So, Dr. Aya, I'm glad you said that. I started having these sticking pains in my heart. I literally thought I was having a heart attack. I haven't slept actually in 2 days, so I don't even know how I'm doing this radio show. But every time I took a deep breath, I felt a stabbing pain in my heart.
Yes.
And I kept saying, okay, God, okay. I had to literally, you're right. The response impacted me. It felt like my heart was broken. It's the only way I could describe it. So thank you. And we're helping other people here because I can see them talking about, you know, the grieving process and that this is helping them, which is why I asked you. I didn't just want to come on here and cry. I really wanted to take this and use it as a lesson, a teaching tool to help people how to get through the grieving process. Okay. So
I do thank you for having me on, because certainly most people, when they are grieving, don't think to reach out for help. They usually try to handle it themselves. Sometimes they're embarrassed about the way they're reacting because it's usually so different from the way you normally react in everyday crises. So part of what we say is, as you know, I'm the president of the Delaware Valley Association of Black Psychologists, and part of what we tell people is that we have to understand that grieving is an unusual, exceptionally difficult experience for most people, and it is the most appropriate time to reach out. Now, normally we'll reach out to our religious people to help us, or our family to help us, or, you know, once again, whether it's family or friends, or as you do on your program, your extended family. But there are times when the grieving process gets stuck and you don't work through the grieving, and you need someone who's an expert in the field. And just as you mentioned, you want to go to somebody who has a cultural knowledge of you. Don't go to somebody who doesn't look like you, because they're not going to get it. And it's important to have someone who can truly identify with you and help you to work through those feelings. So one other thing that I recommend, because before we can get to that point where we can accept that death, I tell people in my practice to have crying time. Crying time is important. And what that is, I tell people, get a picture of the person, or if you don't have a picture, their voice, or whatever you have that represents that person. It could be an item. And you set up a specific time. I usually suggest before you go to bed at night, so that your eyes aren't all puffy when you go into work. So at night you say, okay, at 10 o'clock, I'm going to cry for 15 to 20 minutes. You get your tissues. If you live with other people, you tell them, I'm going into this room and I'm going to be in there crying. I don't want to be disturbed. I'm okay, but I need to cry. And you get your little tissues and your trash can and you cry. Because guess what? It's like rain. It's cleansing your system. It is a healing cry, because when you lose someone, you have to now come to grips with the fact that that person won't be there anymore. Not physically, but from an African perspective, we say no one ever truly dies. They simply transform, which is why we talk about the ancestors, those people who've gone before us. And we talk about the fact that even from a scientific perspective, they say energy cannot be destroyed. It can be transformed into something else. So when our physical selves pass away, we transform and we become pure energy. And that energy is now able to surround you and be there for you in ways that they couldn't be there when they were in their physical form.
Yeah. I just talking to you is soothing and calming to me. I want to thank you, Dr. Ayo. Hold on with me for a little bit long. We're going to talk a little bit more about the fact that as it's International Women's Day.
Yes.
And I am surrounded by women who, of all cultures, but specifically Black and brown women, we carry these burdens on our shoulders every day, and we try our best. We are almost like chameleons, right? This is why I tell people, stay in your most authentic place, because not everybody's going to like you no matter what you do. And if you stay in your most authentic place, then your tribe will find you, right? And so give these women now, please, some advice on how to manage day to day, and then tell us how we can reach you, because I'm very specific about finding people of color to talk to our folks. We've gone to other people, and listen, let me just say, I've had a few white therapists that try their very best, right? And they will always say, look, I don't understand your culture the way I need to.
Exactly.
So whenever possible, especially on WURD radio,
Yes.
I try to find people who will come on the air and give us tips, and then so that they can find you all to talk to you, to help them as they move through the process. So on this International Women's Day, when I just feel like the whole world is on my shoulder and I'm talking my poor phone and my computer, I didn't talk for yesterday was the first time I talked to people, right?
Okay.
Talk to us about what we do. How can we deflect some of the burdens that we carry what people think so seamlessly, right? And what are the tools we can use to take care of ourselves, to manage as we're going through?
Yes. Well, let me say, first of all, everybody takes care of themselves differently, just like everybody grieves differently. There's no time frame to it. But with taking care of ourselves, we have to first of all realize that as especially Black women, that we're the mothers of all other people on the planet. So it's not really a burden. What it is, it's a responsibility. And in that responsibility, it includes taking care of ourselves, because you can't take care of others if you're not taking care of yourselves. So that means doing things like giving yourself a day off, or giving yourself a half a day off. It means taking a bubble bath and relaxing with candles and soft music, and reading a book or watching a funny movie. Taking a shower for an extra 5 minutes, if that's all the time you have, but doing something for you and making it a ritual. When you get through a hard day, do something for you that says, I did good, I am good, and I am worthy of the best. You must affirm yourself. Don't wait for other people to affirm you, because you know your goodness. Reinforce it. Love yourself. And then that love can be shared with others. But if you don't feel like you're getting that love, give it to yourself. And remember to keep those people in your circle who reinforce you, who acknowledge you, who appreciate you, and start cutting out those people who bring you down and give you grief.
Did you all catch that? Did you all catch that? Because they're over here. I can't even look at them talking, because they're going to make me cry all over again. I know they love me,
Yes.
but I see their love pouring out, and I'm trying not to look, because I don't even want to start bawling again. But keep people around you that reinforces you, and remove. There's some energy suckers, and I tell folks all the time, if they're sucking your energy, kindly remove yourself. You don't have to fuss at them. You don't have to call them any names. You don't have to do any of those things. In fact, the nicer you treat them as you extricate yourself, the better off God will treat you, right? Because he doesn't care what they're doing, cares what you do around the people that you are. And so I teach my sister friends all the time, learn how to acknowledge the pain, learn how to say, you know what, I didn't get that right. Learn how to say, I'm sorry. In fact, I called a friend of mine that I was so mad with because I thought he wasn't taking the precautions around COVID, and I just stopped talking to him. When Leah died, I called him yesterday, and before he could get hello out, I said, I apologize. I apologize. I was upset with you, but you know what? You and I have been friends for a long time, and it was not worth my not talking to you. You know what I mean? And so for me to find that space, and that's what I'm telling people, make things right with folks, you know, cleanse your chi, cleanse what's going on inside of you. And I think I got as much as I could. Anything else you'd like to add to that?
I want to give people a phone number. You can call the Delaware Valley Association of Black Psychologists at 267-282-1062. That's 267-282-1062. Or you can reach us on, you can type in Delaware Valley Association of Black Psychologists, and you'll find us. And remember, it is strength. It takes courage to reach out for help. It is not a sign of weakness. It is not a sign that you're crazy. It's a sign that you realize that none of us come here alone. And as we have this journey, we must remember there are people who are able and willing to help us make that journey much more pleasurable and healing along the way.
You are just so wonderful. I thank you. I'm going to tell people who you are so they don't think I'm just talking out the side. I want them to know Dr. Ayo Maria Casey Gooden is a licensed psychologist and a board-certified African-centered Black psychologist, diplomat, and fellow. She earned her BA in psychology from Lincoln University, Lincoln in Pennsylvania, and her MA and PhD in clinical psychology from the University of Cincinnati. Dr. Ayo focuses on wellness instead of illness in her practice. She values the specific cultural and ethnic background of individuals and incorporates this information into her therapy and counseling. So thank you so much. Give them the phone number once again, please, Dr. Ayo.
Yes, that phone number is 267-282-1062. And I want to thank you and remind you that you can call me too if you're feeling the need. You've got my number. You've got my cell phone number. So give me a call. I'll be here for you.
I literally have to get through this funeral.
All right.
Praying. My husband is holding me up.
Call me.
So I will.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Have a good afternoon.
Sante Sana. Thank you.
Sante Sana.
Take care.
Bye-bye. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM. Thank you, Michael. 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. I want to thank all of you that, you know, loved Leah, knew who Leah was. Even if you didn't know Leah, I wrote a beautiful thing about her this morning. It took me 2.5 days to actually get myself together to do it, and I did it at midnight because I am not sleeping. This one hurt me like one of my siblings died. That's how important she was to me, and that's how important she was to so many people. And I know many of you have lost folks around you in recent days and months and weeks. This is the third time I've heard of someone waking up not being able to breathe and dying. I've had folks die from COVID. I mean, so while I am grieving, I thought it was important to teach all of you, to give you some of the steps for the grieving process, and to reach out to psychologists like Dr. Aya Gooden. And Mike just put the number in the Facebook thing for all of you. If you're on the line, listening on the radio, it's 267-282-1062. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in if you'd like to talk to me between now and 2 p.m. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders. We will be right back after these messages.
Recovery starts with a call. Pennsylvania's Substance Use Disorder Hotline is staffed by real people who are trained to help. They're here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They'll get you or your loved one into treatment regardless of your access to insurance. If you or someone you know is suffering from addiction, call 1-800-662-HELP. Recovery starts with a call.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
The WURD Radio newsletter, keeping you informed, engaged, and connected. Sign up by visiting WURDradio.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page and type your email address under Connect with Us. You'll receive the latest information on WURD Radio, messages from our president and CEO, Sarah Lomax Reese, exclusive articles and multimedia content, and resources. Stay informed with the WURD Radio newsletter.
The Sweet Treat Hut is the highest rated juice bar in Philly, located on the corner of 50th and Thompson Streets, providing delicious, healthy vegan food, juices, and smoothies. Treat yourself to a cup of happiness. Call 215-877-1471.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. If you'd like to call in and talk to me now, 215-634-8065 is the phone number. I just so appreciate all of you. If there were no COVID-19, I would have just about visited everybody that invited me to come and see them in their community spaces. It's been difficult. I only went out for the first time and literally was driving by Woody shop, saw that it was Woody, and ran on in. So, you know, I love you all. I appreciate you all. I ask that you continue to hold up what we're doing in the light, because this is not easy work and not everybody is happy with the things that we say and do here, but that's okay. Cliff from Connecticut, are you there, sir? How are you?
Dr. You certainly have my prayers. Let me start off by saying that. And also your emotions, it's natural. So don't feel bad at all. Losing two parents, a mom and a dad, you know, my mom 10 years ago at 69 of cancer, you know, without a doubt, that was one of the most devastating loss I ever experienced. And you know what? Those phases of grief, you know, they happen, you know, the anger, depression, the denial, and you know what? They reoccur. So I would go through one phase, and then I go through another phase, and then it will happen again and again, you know. And the most crazy part about it is that at night, at some point during the day, you know, during the day, for 24 hours a day seem to be okay, but at night or early morning, like 1 to 5, you know,
can't sleep, cannot sleep, Cliff. Yes.
You know, exactly. Things are quiet, and you know what I would do, Sister Andrea? You know, I would literally drive, and then all of a sudden just bust out crying. Now, I'm a man now. Don't get it twisted now. I'm a man, you know. So, you know, like women, the whole night, but I cry like a baby for like 10 minutes, and then stop, and then be okay. You know what I mean? So the point I'm making is that these things are natural, so don't feel bad. And the last thing I want to say to you is that understanding and believing, you know, that there is life after death, we just transition, it gave me to the point where I don't fear death anymore. You know what I mean? And so I'm not afraid to die, you know, because I'm going to see my loved ones, you know, and I know that there's another place, so I don't fear death. That's why honestly, I'm not dealing with this, you know, with the vaccine. I'm not concerned about it, COVID-19. If it happens to be, I'm not taking the vaccine. I don't take the flu. If I pass away, I'm fine with that, because I would be in a better place in comparison to what's happening right here on this earth. So
you're one of those people who don't fear death, and that's a good thing. That is really a good thing,
So
Cliff.
hopefully that'll give you a little bit of consolation. So, you know, keep in my prayers and be encouraged. Time will heal. Time will be the healing process that will help you get through this. Thank you, sister.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. All right, bye-bye. Ooh, okay, y'all. This is I love you all too. I see your posts. I just want to thank you all so much. You know, while we're all talking about Women's International Day, you all have just been amazing. So good. So gracious and kind in all of this. You know, Leah was deadpan. She wouldn't, you know, I would say, Leah, I love you, I love you, I love you. She said, girl, stop saying that. I know you love me. I love you too. Moving along. And she was just always that way. So there are times when I would get really sad, and then I would hear her voice in my head. And quite frankly, one of the things Dr. Ayo said, because I looked over into the sky right after I learned that she had died, and I just started talking to her, and I could literally feel her talking to me. I'm going to need you to gather yourself. I'm going to need you to get my baby, make sure she's okay, talk to the people around you, because you're my village, right? So we, you know, it's not been easy. And so for me, I just want to let you all know that, you know, I am being as authentic as I can in this process, because I almost called Dee and said, put on the best stuff. And I was like, nope, I'm going to show up to work. I have to show up to work. So Frank from West Philly, how are you?
Good. How are you? The first time caller.
Oh, welcome to the source. How are you?
Good. I know Leah was very close to you.
Yes.
And she sounds like a dynamic woman.
Yes.
But let's celebrate her. I'm listening to the callers.
Mm-hmm.
Let's celebrate her life. That God gave her the time to be with you.
Yes.
Let's not celebrate her death. Okay?
Yes.
Let's celebrate her life, because she was magnificent. She had energy unsurmountable.
Yes.
And do you think, Leah, if she's in heaven looking at you and everybody else saying, I'm having a good time.
She's like, yep, I don't have to cook anymore. I don't have to bake anymore. I don't have to do this. I don't have to do that. I know. And I know she's watching over us. Thank you so much.
And Leah said, I'll see everybody soon.
Yes. And now her spirit is floating around, poking us. Get up. You don't have time to lay down. So thank you so much, Frank. You have a good one, okay? All right. Dwayne from West Philly, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
How are you,
well,
sir?
Something goes out for the family and everything for you. I know it's rough because, I lost 3 loved ones, and it's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard to go through that. I mean, I was crying for days. I had a hard time getting sleep and everything, and it made me bitter, too.
Yeah, tell me how it made you better.
Not me, made me bitter.
Tell me why it made you bitter.
Because she left my loved one left so soon, and she was young, and then she really suffered before she died. She didn't die right away. She had cancer real bad and had liver problem, and I was going up in the hospital, back and forth about 2 months before she passed. Yeah, I seen her body turn all black and everything, and that got to me. And I tell you what, I got bitter at God too.
Yeah. That's a part. I think that's a part of the natural process, don't you think?
Yeah, because you know what? Sometimes you like to know why the good people look like they leave quick, and then the people that's doing all kinds of rotten stuff look like they live a long time.
we talked about that yesterday too. I was like, why? There's a couple of people. A friend of mine called me this morning. She's like, listen, I know a couple of people that I was like, no, we can't go there. We cannot go there. But it's all a part of the grieving process, and we recognize that. So I want to thank you, sir. You hang in there, okay?
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye. I love y'all. Just
bye.
Awesome. All right, bye-bye. So listen, before I take another break or take another call, I just want to let you know that in all of this conversation about COVID-19 vaccines, the Black Doctors Consortium, every week I'm going to now tell you where all the testing and vaccination sites are. And so let's see, yesterday they were at Bethlehem Baptist Church. I'm telling you, for Montgomery County residents only. Folks got there at 6 o'clock in the morning, and by 8:30 they had all the vaccines were gone before they even opened at 11. So people really want this vaccine today, tomorrow. So March 8th, 2021, Tuesday, March 9th, and Thursday, March 11th, and Friday, March 12th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Deliverance Evangelistic Church is where they're giving vaccines. Again, today, tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. That's March 8th, 9th, 11th, and 12th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Deliverance Evangelistic Church at 2001 West Lehigh Avenue. And so that's it for this week for them. Okay, let me take Edna. Edna, you there? That's my mother-in-law.
I'm your mother-in-law.
Hi, Mama D. How are you? You heard me crying, huh?
On your phone. Couldn't get you on your phone. I said, I'm going to call you at the studio.
I'm sorry. I wasn't answering any calls at all. I just wasn't. I couldn't. Every time I talked to someone, I cried. So I just didn't.
You're supposed to answer my calls. You know that. Even if we just talk 2 seconds, you're supposed to answer my calls, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, we just want to let you know that we love you. We're praying for you. and
Yes,
we're
ma'am.
sorry about Leah's death.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
she was a beautiful woman. I think I met her one time.
You did. You did. You met her.
Yes, I met her. I met her one
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
You actually met her more than
about
once because
all
she was at all our events. So you met her more than once, and she was the one that made all the good cakes and everything for us. You know.
Yes, I know that. Your husband, my son, he was telling us about that, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that, remember, we love you. And remember, God's still in control. Remember all the good things.
Yes.
All the good times you had with her.
Yes.
You know.
Yes,
and her spirit is still around you. You know.
Yes,
I know
ma'am.
you can still feel it.
I
You know
can.
that.
I can. She's talking to me all the time. Sometimes I tell her, shut up and go go away with her deadpan self. But she's talking to me. And
I
it's
know.
mostly about her
Mhm.
daughter. So I check in and make sure she's all right. Thank you for calling, Mama D. I love you.
Okay, we love you. Okay, take care
All
now.
right.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. To the PICO employees where Leah worked full-time, I know you're swirling too. I know. I see it. I saw that many of you couldn't believe. You were in disbelief. Many of you had just spoken to her. To the Upper Darby School District where she sat on the board and volunteered and lived in Drexel Hill just about for as long as we can remember. I send you my love and light too. While I recognize that I am upset, I recognize that you all are going through it. Leah was an integral part of PICO. She was a part of the PICO Explorers with the young people. She joined just about everything you can think of, the dance, recite, everything for the young people. And so to the PICO folks, I know you all are talking about what you want to do and how you're going to do it, but this is a testament to the way she lived her life, and we can just about do whatever we can to let her go and move on. For those of you who knew Leah well, look out for Randy Hayes Martin and I. We're planning something for summer because, Leah liked to enjoy a good meal, and we're going to do something in her honor, which means we're going to have to get a caravan and we're going to be driving somewhere, not disclosing this on the radio, but we also want to make sure that everybody drives their own car. If you're not vaccinated, and it's going to be outdoors on a beach. So we can do what we need to do. But we're not letting Leah go just simply with the funeral. It can't happen that way. And if you know of anybody that knows how to bake like Leah, Lord, I don't know if that person exists, but we'll figure it out. So I just want to thank you all. I'm going to move on from this. Talking about it was cathartic and therapeutic, and I'm starting to feel much better. Michael, I love you. From my heart to yours, I love you. Thank you. Thank you to all of you who were just great around all of this with me. I'm getting ready to move on because this must be Leah again. At 3 o'clock, I have the students from the court. And I can't even remember now. Hold on. I'm going to tell you all in a minute because I've been so looking forward to it. I met them just before COVID hit and on the air. They called in on WURD, and then the next day, Valentine's Day 2020, I went to their school and watched them, the youth court. The Philadelphia community-based youth court. They're going to be on at 3 o'clock on Zoom. I cannot wait. Wait till you see how I light up when I see them. They are amazing young people, and with Mama. And so that is going to make me feel 1,000% better. But coming up at 2 o'clock, I'm going to have Joanna Jane and another guest on. And in between, we'll have some callers. Wait, I don't think I have anybody at 2 o'clock. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let Marva tell you in a minute because I need my regular callers to call in because I never want to give them. Oh, I have Joanna at 2 o'clock. Okay. So you all try to call in where you can, and we'll get to talk, okay? Love you all. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. If you are hearing the sound of my voice, I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
Did you know you can use LIHEAP to pay your PICO bill? Last year, PICO customers received almost $17 million in free LIHEAP support. This year, take advantage. This deal is first come, first served. Apply now. Call 800-34-HELP-4.
It's Women of Color Her Story Month 2021 in the city of sisterly affection. This is a time to celebrate the power, legacy, and achievement of Black women. Brought to you by New Voices for Reproductive Justice, based here in Philadelphia. This year's theme is Black Majesty. You are invited to 4 virtual events from February 15th to March 15th. Visit womenofcolorherstory.org and WOC Her Story on Facebook and Twitter for full event details. WURD Radio celebrates Women's History Month with the 2021 Level Up Contest. Join us as we embark on a 3-city contest that will highlight Black women-owned businesses who are making a difference in their communities. You can nominate yourself or your favorite Black woman-owned business and enter to win a marketing campaign valued at $5,000. Level Up is a joint production of WURD Radio in Philadelphia, WVON in Chicago, and KJLH in Los Angeles. These 3 Black-owned stations are joining forces to host a historic, interactive, and multimedia contest spotlighting Black women-owned businesses in Philly, Chicago, and Los Angeles. The deadline for submissions is March 15th. Philadelphia finalists will be featured in a special 2-hour live on-air pitch party on March 31st, where the Philadelphia winner will be selected. Go to wordradio.com and click on the Level Up banner for more information or to nominate yourself or a Black woman-owned business you love. The 2021 Level Up contest is sponsored by Comcast, Bank of America, PECO, Keystone First, Thomas Jefferson University, and Jefferson Health.
This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Black Talk Media.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDRadio.com and the WURD Radio app.
While I wait for Joanna Jane to come on and talk to me, I want to tell you all this. Go to the doctor. If you don't have a regular physician and our health insurance, find a clinic that will help you. My friend Margaret, who is another childhood friend of mine, would always say this to me: write down every symptom that you have, especially as we get older, right? We just, just a little pain here, a little pain there. Write down your stuff and go to the doctor and make sure that you are checked out so that we can, prevention is really better than the cure. We still don't know what happened to Leah. I'm not just saying that that's about her. I'm just saying about us in general. We tend to not go to the doctor unless it's an emergency or unless you're like me, because, I got this appointment set up, dentist appointment set up, everybody appointment set up. Lynn, are you there?
Yes. Good afternoon, Mother.
Hi, sis. How are you?
Oh, I'm making it, and I just want to thank you for having that doctor on.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
Nick had a doctor on, too, that helped us with our grief.
Mm-hmm.
Last Monday, I experienced the same thing. Unexpectedly, a dear friend passed, and, I was dealing with Cody's death. I didn't know Cody, call him up, phone number, but his death affected me so profoundly, and I was just wondering why I couldn't sleep, and, not hearing his voice with Miss Vicky anymore, and I became so depressed. And then when my friend passed unexpectedly last Monday, it was the same symptoms, but I think it was Saturday night. I couldn't sleep, so on TBS Network, this movie came on. It starred Reese Witherspoon, and she was a little intern that was working herself to death. And the movie was like Ghost. It was like a ghost. But it restored my faith that, although they're gone, their spirit is with us. It's a cute little movie, and it just restored my faith, made me feel better. And if you can Google it, it stars Reese Witherspoon. I forgot what it was called, but I'm looking for it too, Mother. But it helped me a lot. But I want to thank you for having these doctors on, and I want to thank Julie Taylor. That's Mary Lou's sister. She referred me to the Black Doctor Psychology, too. And I just want to give her a big hug and wish everybody a happy International Women's Day. And we're going to make it. God got us, Mother. God has us.
I believe so. I believe so, too, Lynn. Thank you, my sister. Love
You're
you.
welcome.
Talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So I'm going to pivot while I'm waiting for Joanna to jump in on Zoom and talk to you a little bit about the interview that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle had with Oprah last night. And I watched it at like 2 o'clock this morning because couldn't sleep. And so I had a little bit of a chuckle because I grew up under British rule. Even though Jamaica has been independent since the early 60s, even before I was born, we still have a lot of the British customs. And so they still pay attention to the Queen, Our testing system is very British. We use the CXC versus the SAT system, the whole 9 yards. So I'm watching all of this unfold and realized, I looked at my husband and well, he was sleeping, but I was talking to him. And I said, racism happens everywhere. There is always, I talk about this book Cast by Isabel Wilkerson, and I really recommend that everybody should read it, right? Because we assume that because there was someone in the British royal blood that was black some years ago, how many decades or generations ago, that people would have reached where they needed to. But if you watched on Netflix, The Crown, there's a series called The Crown on Netflix. If you watch that, that is just about as accurate as it can. The British media and tabloids kind of hold the British royal system, British royal family hostage because, quite frankly, they're saying, look, you're getting our money. What are you there? What are you really there for? So they've been challenging their roles as the monarch over the years. And so when I heard that Meghan was running into trouble, the first thing I noticed when it was her wedding was she took the shine off of Harry's brother and his wife Kate, who was the darling. And what they ended up doing was, Kate rubs her belly, she's wonderful. Meghan rubs her belly, she's vain, right? And so if you want to see what it looks like when you look at two people doing the exact same thing and the only difference about them is the color of their skin and how people respond to them, then you will get it. It broke my heart when she said, okay, it broke my heart when she said she told her husband that she felt like she wanted to commit suicide, right? That it was just too much for her in the middle, that she didn't leave the house but twice in 45 days. They took her passport, her driver's license, her keys. So everything had to go through the communication system that they had there. And she had a name for it, a sinister name for it that I was like, wow. And then when they decided to split from taking the daily duties and move to another British monarch, which was Canada, they told him you are no longer going to have security, right? And because of the way the Brits have been over the generations, none of the royal family members are safe because there are just too many countries that are just unhappy with some of the things that have happened there, right? So we talk about power and how much we want it and how much we crave it. Those of us with good sense understand that real power is working behind the scenes, right? And not drawing attention to the work that you have done over the time. And so this is you all are just going to have to continue to pay attention and understand. And this is why I have therapists on to talk to you about how do you manage, because the caste system is very real, very, very real. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how degreed you are. And the case in point was Michelle Obama. They likened her to a monkey, and they likened the last president's wife to someone who was wonderful, even though Michelle Obama's resume and pedigree was miles apart from this other one, right? And so it didn't matter. It just doesn't matter to too many people, not just in this country, excuse me, not just in this country, but around the world. So don't think that you leave the United States of America and life gets better in other places. Nelson Mandela in South Africa was going through the same thing. Wherever we are, the Chinese have taken over certain countries. We talked about this. And so there's a lot. It's a lot. And you want to be mindful. You want to think about how you move and shake. You want to know where to step, where not to step, because there are folks who are always going to feel like no matter what you do, they can come for you. And this is why we also see what happened with Philly fighting COVID, right? Dr. Ayla, I didn't read enough of the report to see where Dr. Ayla was mentioned in any part of it, but I'd love to see what her response was if they interviewed her, when they interviewed her, because she was on national television talking about the fact and was being interviewed all over the place to talk about all of this. So let me do a little bit of news because I'm waiting on Joanna to call in. Let's see. The New York Times. An epidemiological whodunit. David Leonhardt. It is one of the biggest mysteries about COVID-19. Why has the death toll been relatively low across much of Africa and Asia? The virus has killed a fraction of as many people on these continents, despite their relative lack of resources, as it has in Europe or the United States. Woo-hoo. Well. This isn't about how public health emergencies usually work. They tend to inflict their worst damage in poorer places, which is indeed what is happening within the United States, where the toll has been higher in many minority and low-income communities. Globally, though, COVID has been different. My little friend from Sudan was talking about this yesterday, that in Africa, the cases are much lower. Tanzania, 0 cases. Pakistan, 61. These are the deaths. I'm sorry. Pakistan, 61 deaths. In Thailand, they had 1 death from COVID. Vietnam, 0 deaths. Tanzania, 0 deaths. The Congo had only 8 deaths from COVID. Egypt had 109 deaths. Philippines had 115. China had, that can't be right. I'm sorry, confirmed COVID-19 deaths per million residents. There you go. So they had, China had 3 COVID-19 deaths per million residents. Vietnam had 0. Tanzania had 0. India had 115 deaths per 1 million residents. Japan had 65. In the United States, 1,580 people per every million people that were ranked with COVID. In Germany, it was 865. So you see the numbers here. So people are starting to ask these questions. So other than Mukherjee article, the pattern has received surprisingly little attention in the United States. In a recent New Yorker article, the physician and Pulitzer Prize winning author Siddhartha Mukherjee described it as an epidemiological whodunit. Other than in her article, the pattern has received surprisingly little attention in the United States, and it's one of those instances where good news is being overlooked. I want to devote today's newsletter to the mystery and its most plausible explanations. Let's see what they say, because, you know, plenty of black folks here said, is it a statistical mirage? Almost certainly not. Some portion of the pattern probably does stem from an underreporting of deaths by less developed medical systems, but much of the pattern is real, many epidemiologists believe. In India, for example, major cities keep statistics on overall mortality regardless of cause, and it has risen less than it has in many richer countries. The data suggests that both Delhi and Mumbai have a much lower COVID death rate than in the United States. Dr. Prabhat Jha, who runs the Center for Global Health Research at St. Michael's Hospital in Toronto, told me in this article he described a temporary hospital that local officials in Mumbai set up last year in Davari, a sprawling slum there. They closed it after Davari suffered far fewer deaths than expected. So what is happening? What is different? We need to know, right? Is the COVID is usually harder on older people. More than 80% of the United States deaths have occurred among people who are 65 or older. Across Africa and much of Asia, the population is younger, birth rates are higher, and other health problems more frequently kill people before they reach an old age. In sub-Saharan Africa, only 3% of the population is 65 or older. In Pakistan, only 4% is. In the United States, the share is 16%, and it's 20% in the European nation. A relative factor might be the fact that nursing homes, where COVID has often spread from one resident to the next, are more common in Western countries. Outside of the West, older people often live in multi-generational households. So true. Taking the mother, the father to live with them. So that's good. I'm still waiting for, I think I hear her. Let me just make sure I got her. I think I hear her. I think I hear her. Is she on, Michael? There she is. Ha ha! Hi, Joanna.
Hi.
It It's so good to see you.
Same here. I miss you.
I miss you too. So Joanna Jane, who is a real estate developer extraordinaire, honey, listen. 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 So I attract people who are about their business. And Joanna is about her business. And she and I met through a mutual friend, and we became accountability partners. Both of us have gotten so busy, we have an accountability or a partner. So I'm going to read a little bit about you so that folks know what you're doing, because, we don't just bring people on here because they're cute now. Joanna Jane Bartholomew is an economic change agent. She has combined her years as a social worker with her skill and passion to financial services to help individuals reach success. As a licensed financial coach, she specializes in services for small business owners and middle-income families to create financial plans of purpose. And so we're going to talk about this book, but as the founder of O'Hara Development Partners, Joanna Jane has carefully built a team of skilled and respected professionals who share her passion and inspiration for creating economic change while generating strong financial return. The team includes a community engagement specialist, seasoned contractors, and skilled investment advisors with Wall Street experience. O'Hara Development Partners stands up upon the foundation of strong relationships, integrity, and innovation with a heart that is always focused on community. Good afternoon, sis. Listen, I'm so excited to see you because we have a few minutes to talk about this book that you wrote that, you and I talk, so we know what that looks like. But tell people a little bit about what's going on in Baltimore with your buying of the block and the properties there.
Okay, so that's a twofold question. So let's start first with what's happening in Baltimore. Baltimore, like other inner cities, is under major redevelopment, right? So we have a number of people that, if we just look within Pennsylvania and DC, people are strongly considering Baltimore because DC has, developed so much that people are having a very difficult time there finding affordable housing. And I don't necessarily mean people that are in, low income. I mean, like just affordable, period. DC is very expensive to live. And as we all know, Philadelphia has been on the high rise for some time as well. So right there in the middle, you have Baltimore City that is under major reconstruction. We have several corporations that have, started to put their bases there between Amazon and Under Armour, to name just a few of the ones that come to mind off the top of my head. So you have a number of people that are, working in other cities and have decided to make, Baltimore their home because it's more affordable. We have a new mayor now, Mayor Brandon Scott, and
I met thanks to you.
Yes.
How old is he? Is he 40 yet?
No. He's, I think, either like 37 or 38, but he is the youngest mayor of Baltimore City, and he has a strong plan. I had the opportunity to work with him on his transition team over the holiday season, and I'm very proud to see what he has in place and how he'll be moving forward with the city. So Baltimore is very much a hot spot right now where people are looking to move. In addition to that, sadly, as we know, Baltimore is also the birthing place of redlining. So with that being stated, we have seen Baltimore, go through a lot, again, along with a number of other cities, right? But Baltimore also has a significant amount of vacant properties. And what I always like to do is to make sure that as we're going into inner cities, that we are really touching the people first. I don't care if it's only one neighbor, one person living on that block. You should do your due diligence and communicate with them, talk to them, find out, who used to live here, what happened from your perspective. So O'Hara Developments, where I am the founder and CEO, we've spent time doing that since late 2017. We started December 20th, I think, to be exact. So we just had a birthday not too long ago. And we spent the last couple years, we didn't know 2020 was going to go the way it went, but we spent, more so 2018 and 2019 preparing for that big launch once we knew it was the right time. And we spent time with the people, with the associations, learning about the various community leaders, and come full circle. We now have a Before You Build series, which is the book that, I have released a couple weeks ago. And it really is a series, and I say that because there's 4 volumes. One volume will come out just about every quarter. And it helps, Andrea, people to understand how you can either, hashtag buy the block, which is this big, trend that's been going on for some time. But even if you're just looking to buy one property, how do you get started? But how do you do it with impact? How do you do it by making informed decisions and being knowledgeable about the different grant programs and funding opportunities? So that's why, on purpose, the very first book is not about how to find a bag and how to, just flip a property. It's about building from the heart of the community. So that's the first volume.
Yeah, I love it. I read the book. Detailed as all get out. Tell us what was the impetus behind the series of books? Because did you see many developers that looked like you? Or are people thinking that they can't do this because they didn't start out with $1 million? You didn't start out with $1 million,
no.
Right?
No, definitely did not. So the emphasis behind the book was, you're my sister, I got to keep it real. I get so tired of people just grabbing property because it sounds cute, and then they find themselves in a rut. They don't want to take the time to actually pay for the coaching, pay for the mentorship, be willing to be quiet and no one know your name for a season while you learn. And unfortunately, by them doing these type of things, they end up wasting money. The house ends up, going in foreclosure, or it sits there vacant longer than it needs to be. So I wanted to write it, on one hand because of that. Then you have the other person that says, maybe they were more like me. Maybe they said, I've flipped a property before. I know about, the whole rental life, but I'm looking to, have some more purpose in what I'm doing. How do I do that? And this book, especially the first volume that we just released, really helps someone to be able to see how they can do it with impact. We identify, what are opportunity zone funds, how you can find housing opportunities for, if you want to do specialties for veterans, and how can you do housing for a number of specialties, and we link you to those resources where you can actually apply. So the book is very interactive. It's an ebook. It's not available as print for a reason, because, we want this to be something that's quick. You can go directly to it. You can click those hyperlinks and actually get started. A lot of times we think that because we don't see enough people that look like us, whether it's another woman or whether it's another Black woman, we stay stagnant and we don't move forward. So I knew that I had to come out with this information because I don't want anybody to think that, oh, she's just special. I mean, I may be a little special, but this is something that you could do too if you choose to.
Yeah, agreed. Tell them how they can find the book.
You can find the book at www.beforeyoubuildebook.com. That's beforeyoubuildebook.com. And we actually have a free webinar that's going to be happening next week. And I don't do free workshops very often. I'm very much a big stickler on, you investing in your future, sowing into yourself. But I said, you know what? There's so many people that I come across that says, hey, if I just knew it was just this part, I would have been got started. So I said, I'm going to go ahead and do a free workshop next week. You can go to my page, Joanna Jane on Facebook, or you can go to The Real Joanna Jane on Instagram. Click the link, sign up. It's free information. We're going over real estate finance terminology, real estate concepts, how you can make your property pay for itself. So this will be a great way for someone to get started if they're like, I'm not sure if I want to actually pay the ticket yet, but I at least want to get in the room.
Right. I love you for that. You have learned how to give is to receive, right? That's something that was instilled in you way too early, and so that you understand when you give to people and they get to a place where they can trust you, then they'll start to receive what is it that you're giving to them. What is your ultimate goal with these series? Is it to get more people into real estate, or to stop them from making costly mistakes, or both, or none of the above?
Definitely to help you stop making costly mistakes. Because if you have a guide, I have a saying, Andrea, if I already bled, you should not bleed where I bled. My bandage is enough. My bandage is enough. So that is my goal with this book. Whether you're buying the block whether you're buying one house, I want you to understand who should be on your team before you get started. Don't get the house and then you're wondering, well, who do I call, now? What do I do? Why do I have to have an architect and all these different things? So it's really about helping people reduce those type of expensive mistakes, in addition to making informed decisions. And then, of course, I want people to increase their wealth. Land is a spiritual connection. This is something that God has given us dominion and authority over. Real estate actually stands for royal condition, royal interest. So you have to know, what is your royal interest in the land that has been given to you for you to have dominion and authority over? It's already yours. You just have to tap into it. So I want people to definitely increase their wealth in the area of real estate. Is one of the number one generator wealth tools. I put out a post the other day. I said, that house I said your child's college education is locked up in the house that you drive by every day. That you're scared to buy. So I hope that it motivates someone to say, I can do this, whether I partner with someone, whether I get one house, or whether I'm ready to scale up and get the block. And definitely, I don't want you to have to do it in a very expensive way if you could learn from me and some of my coaches and mentors.
So do me a favor, Joanna. We're going to say goodbye, but I need you to go on the social media page and put the link to the free workshop, because someone's asking, and the link to the ebook for me, please. Sure. And then can you also promise to come back and talk to us and give us more updates? I know you're in Sincerely Sarita's show, so I'm not moving into her space, but I want you and I to talk about, not only investment, but how do we save and it not become a curse word? You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
So thank you so much, honey.
Thank
Joanna
you so
Jane
much.
Bartholomew is an economic change agent and the founder of O'Hara Development Partners. It's always a pleasure talking to you, my sweetie. Talk to you soon, okay?
Talk to you soon.
All right, bye-bye. Bye-bye. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
Need to replace your Social Security card? In most states, you can request one online with a My Social Security account. A My Social Security account gives you secure access to your personal earnings history and benefit status. You can also get a proof of income letter, estimate and apply for benefits, and more. Save time. Go online. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security. Securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Hi, it's me, Gia Peppers. Tune in to More Than That with me live this weekend, or catch the show wherever you listen to podcasts. This week, I'm talking to curator and author Kimberly Drew, one of the co-founders of Art Noir, Larry Osei-Mensah, and my personal friends and founders of Black Market Vintage, Kiana Stewart and Jana Handy. More Than That is brought to you by P&G. You can learn more about P&G's commitment to acts of good for 2021 at png.com/takeonrace. Lead with love.
One of the critical parts of this work is that it really forces us to encounter the nuances of Black stories. It's not just #joy all the time.
I always say, what is your why? Understand why you do it, because then that's what's going to be your motivation in the moments where things aren't going well.
We created a book that is as much about joy as it is about grieving, that is as much about art as it is about food, and that is as much about the present as it is about the future.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. As we continue this discussion around COVID-19, why are the deaths so much lower in other countries? One of the things that they're pointing out, excuse me, David Leonard from the New York Times, is that fresh air helps. Daily life tends to be better ventilated in warmer, low-income countries. People spend more time outdoors and windows are often open. COVID spreads less easily in these settings than it does in poorly ventilated indoor space. There's a lesson here for Americans. Schools, stores, and workplaces can reduce the spread of COVID by improving their ventilation. Many researchers suspect that this is an important part of the answer. If previous coronavirus spread more widely in some countries, people's immune systems there may be better prepared to fight COVID. There's a lot of circumstantial evidence, a South African epidemiologist told Reuters, but there is no smoking gun. Similarly, a team of Indian researchers have argued that deaths are lower in countries which have a higher population exposed to a diverse range of microbes, as the BBC Sautik Biswas wrote. The large share of asymptomatic infections in India is consistent with this hypothesis. A virologist in the southern city of Vellore told the Financial Times, if the hypothesis is correct, it could help to explain why deaths are lower in Africa and Asia than in much of Latin America. So then it would also then, all the people that are talking about herd immunity, so this is why I tell you, we listen to people, we don't dismiss folks out of hand, follow the science, but also follow what's going on. Some of the stuff they don't know, they're learning as they go along, and so that is important. I'm waiting for my next guest to pop in. I can't wait to talk to her. Let me just make sure. Michael, I just want to make sure, is Dr. Let me just make sure. I just want to make sure that our next guest is about to pop in. Let me get this here. It is Dr. Michelle Borba, and I cannot wait to talk to her. The best-selling author of The Unselfie explains while the old markers of accomplishments, grades, and test scores are no longer reliable predictors of success in the 21st century, and offers 7 teachable traits that will safeguard our kids for the future. Come on, Dr. Borba, I can't wait to see you. Michael, is she in the link yet? I just want to make sure that she is there. All right, I'll just keep reading. Just Michael, send me a text when she's on, please. And so so there we are when it comes to that. And then they also said that policy matters. Rwanda quickly and aggressively enforced social distancing, mask wearing, contact tracing, and mass testing. So did several Asian countries. Ghana, Vietnam, and other countries restricted entry at their borders, and a consortium of African nations collaborated to distribute medical masks and rapid COVID tests. Africa is doing a lot of things right, the rest of the world isn't, said Gail Smith, a former Obama administration official. Again, though, this seems unlikely to be the main explanation for the relatively low COVID death toll. Several Asian and African countries, including India, have had much more scattered policy responses as the US and Europe have had. So are they talking about this? So the full answer to this mystery sorely involves multiple explanations. Whatever they are, it's one of the few ways in which COVID has not been as bad as many had feared. Hundreds of thousands of people across Africa and Asia have still died in this terrible disease, but many others are alive today for reasons that are both unclear and marvelous. The number of new cases fell in the United States yesterday for the 9th straight day, according to the Times 7-day average. All right, I need her to get back on. Get Brianna to get her back on, please. The pandemic has worsened factors that lead to child marriage. Israel is reopening indoor dining for people over 16 who are fully vaccinated. I just want to make sure here in Philadelphia, let me look at the news here. In Philadelphia to see, let me see the news here in Philadelphia. What's going on? Ah, Lord, my Lord. I don't even know if I want to read this to y'all. Y'all gonna be mad. Rite Aid, this is the Philadelphia Inquirer. Rite Aid gave 21 Philly vaccine doses to white people for every one it gave a black person. And they are the second largest distributor of vaccines in a racially diverse city, but almost 87% of its doses went to white recipients, while just 4% went to black ones. This was written by Jonathan Lay and Laura McChrystal, and it was published on March 6th. Let me just make sure that Michael is not reaching out to me to Dr. Okay. Rite Aid is a top distributor of the Philadelphia COVID-19 vaccine doses, and it's been giving them overwhelmingly to white people. The pharmacy chain is the second largest provider of vaccines allocated to Philadelphia, a racially diverse city where non-Hispanic whites make up just 1/3 of residents, and where communities of color have disproportionately suffered the pandemic's devastating impacts. But almost 87% of Rite Aid's doses went to white recipients, while just 4% went to black ones, according to New City data on vaccine providers. The preliminary data show Rite Aid gave 26,988 vaccine doses to white people and 1,000 288 to Black people as of late February. I need somebody to just let her in, Michael. I see her. I need somebody to just let me know why that is. I hear her. I hear her. I hear her. I hear her. Hold on. Let me pull this up. I've got a teacher. Hello, Dr. Borba. How are you?
Well, I'm fine because I'm really good because you're my last interview. My life is better.
I'm going to make it so much fun for you.
I thank God. All right, girl.
How many interviews did you have today?
I don't know. It started at 6 a.m. and I forgot. Are you guys on TV? Are you?
We are on Facebook Live, and we're yes. You look good. You look good, Dr. You look good, Dr. Borba. You're fine.
No, I'm looking at myself going, oh, man, did I need a haircut? But at this point, if people don't have empathy, we're really up a creek.
You got that right. Let me introduce you to folks so that they understand the conversation that we're getting ready to have, and I'm excited
Thank
because
you.
we need to, and we'll make this painless for you, right? Michelle Borba has been a teacher, educational consultant, and parent for 40 years, and she's never been more worried than she is about this current generation of children. The high-achieving students she talks with every day are more accomplished, better educated, and more privileged than ever before. They're also more stressed, unhappier, and struggling with anxiety, depression, and burnout at younger and younger ages. And we're like pretty little packages with nothing inside, said one young teen. I believe you, Michelle. I've been having this conversation with my friends, with young people. I don't call them kids. You know, there's a Jamaican thing in me. I don't call them kids. With young people who are stressing. They have suicidal ideation, being home with COVID. They just don't, the coping skills are not there. Right? And so you're on today to tell us why the old markers of accomplishments, grades, and test scores are no longer reliable predictors of success in the 21st century. And you're going to offer 7 teachable traits that will safeguard our children in the future. Okay, let's have at it. Welcome to the source, madam.
Hello, and thank you very much. Wow. Say it like it is. But that's it. You've just kind of outlined the entire thing of what it is. Prior to this pandemic, we had 1 in 5 kids with a mental health disorder. Well, we now have 1 in 4.
So 1 in 5. So 1 in 5 children had a mental disorder before the pandemic.
Yep.
Right. And now it's 1 in 4.
In 1 in 4. But look, to alleviate the guilt here, let's be clear. We love our children desperately. We hope for the best. But we've been fed a line that it's all about GPA. It's all about the test score. And a result, what happened is, their GPAs have never been higher. I mean, 4.0s are now 7.3s. They get to What's the number one time a kid is most likely to drop out? End of freshman year, first semester.
Yes.
I started interviewing college counselors who said there's something really different. You guys are raising a really smart group of kids, but they're lonelier, they're sadder, they're emptier, and they can't handle the stress. Then came the pandemic.
Yes.
So I think first, maybe it's a moment that we can sit and reset, that our kids need something more. I'm not saying stop helping them be smart. They need to have that knowledge set. But there's a balance here that we may be overlooking, as they also need not just knowledge, but a skill set of how to cope.
Yes. Yes.
And that's what Thrivers is. The book is looking at the 7 traits that research says will boost. Now, here's the bottom line, so everybody can feel good about this. Not only boost resilience, lower mental health problems, but also help you become a peak performer. So it isn't either or. If we do the right things, it's crunched into one package. And it's not overnight, or no kid is going to let you read another book the rest of your life. So don't go reading the whole book, but go, okay, here is now the long-term guide, and I'm just going to open it up and figure out what my family needs this month. And teach it as a skill, like maybe 3 minutes a day. Because it's not a one-time lesson. It's like, we got to keep how to calm down, how to cope, learn what your stress signs are, be an optimistic thinker. You don't learn that overnight.
And you know what, Dr. Orba, those are critical thinking skills that we don't give our children, right? And so really the reset has to happen in the adults, the parents, and the educators who have been forced to move from 4.0 to 5.0 to 7.900, right? And the children are going off to these colleges. Not only are they having suicidal ideation, the suicidal rate has gone up, especially in the top tier colleges, right? Because they
Yes.
work so hard in high school, get to where they need to be, and then they get to college and go, oh, I'm really not the smartest one in my class. I'm really not the top 5% in my class. And they haven't developed the kinds of skills to cope. So let me give you an example. The child that the parents say to them, you know, when you come home from school, have a snack, take a little break, do your homework, and set up that regimen with them from the time they're 2 to 3 years old, so that they understand that will help them in terms of studying. The child that the parent says to them, dinner is a specific time every day. The child that the parent says, these are the things that we can do during the week, and these are the things you can do during the weekend. The child that has a certain amount of responsibilities and not just having things handed to them. The child that's taught how to solve a problem. Part of the issue that I see it is the parents will hear the child has an issue. The parent will go and solve the problem and go tell the adults, I solved it. This is my child. My child has a great future. And the child has no coping skills on how to solve a problem. So the parent that says to the child, this was the issue, now tell me how you're going to solve it, right? And starts at a very early age, gives them the set of skills that they need to move forward into adulthood, so that when they become adults, they can move out of your homes and go live productive lives. Am I making sense?
Oh yeah, because to just go, yep, thrivers, one of the correlations, first, a thriver is a kid who says, I got this. Not mommy's going to do it, I got this. Second of all, there's a commonality about thrivers. Along the way, they slowly develop agency or feel like they've got control over their own life. That does not mean you're going to give them free range of the car keys at age 5, but it's slowly, it's kind of like a rubber band. Your goal for your expectations is to gently keep stretching the kid without snapping them. So expectations are at that level. And you've also hit, I think, of the 7 character strengths that are highly correlated to resilience, one of them you nailed, which was number 5, curiosity. Thrivers aren't stumped by the adversity because they think outside the box, or they think around it, or they think of, they're more open to people or ideas. So when they're pushed with a problem, they go, okay, I just need to store my brain of a possibility.
Right.
Instead. And you don't learn that, back to what you just said, you don't learn that unless a mom or a dad or grandma or a teacher says, okay, sit down and take a moment, take a deep breath, tell me what's bugging you.
Yes.
And then what's one thing you could have done differently? What's another thing you could have done? Let's storm your brain of ideas. So you help your kid become a brainstormer and a problem solver. That alone is a coping skill.
And not only is it a coping skill, when they, you know, I tell parents all the time, and you see the difference between the parents who solved all their children's problems and the parents who made their children try to figure out why they created the issue so that they wouldn't ever go back to it again. I tell parents this all the time. You see the difference. They have the children who had to learn at an early age, even if it was something as simple as you took the eggs out the refrigerator and you broke them. What did you have to do differently the next time you go to open the refrigerator door and take the eggs out? Like those simple things when they were 4, 5, and 6 leads into bigger things. And that's what you mean when you say you stretch them little by little so that they become thrivers. So let me give you a great example. I have 2 sons. 25 and 29, and the youngest one got laid off from his job due to COVID. And I kept saying to him, why don't you come home? He's like, I'm not coming home. I will figure it out. And do you know, you are absolutely right. He stayed where he lived. He figured it out. He's paying his rent. He's paying his bills. I was like, oh my gosh, you know, but he said, but that's what you taught us. You taught us to figure it out.
See, I think one thing that we do, I love that example. One thing we do is we forget it's ordinary things that we do on everyday basis that can make extraordinary differences. And the stuff we're talking about isn't huge, impossible, or need a PhD. We just need to know that we need to be first a little more intentional about all of the way our kids are turning out. Second of all, we need good, solid strategies. And what I tried to do in Thrivers is give you a framework. This is what research and science says helps kids overcome adversity. And why we know this? Phenomenal studies that we may not be aware of that have been actually tracking kids growing up in extreme poverty, homelessness, schizophrenic parents, war zones. And for some reason, hundreds of kids in 5 different studies, about 10 years into it, they're shocked that some of the kids are defying the odds and making it.
Yeah.
Why? Then when they look at them, two things come up.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, they already have is a caring champion adult.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's not the parent. It could be great Aunt Sally, the teacher, the coach, who refuses to give up at the child and says, I'm here for you and I'm not quitting. But the second thing is protective buffers or factors or armors, skills that they said help the child, so when the adversity comes, the kid doesn't open up a guidebook and said, now what do I do? They've been practicing these in the everyday little moments, so now they got the, I got this, I can do it.
And as they are impacted by larger problems, they found the solutions anyway, because they just chunk it down into 10-minute increments and say, if I do this, then this will happen, then this will happen, then this will happen. And those children, those young people are thrivers. Tell people how they can find your book, and then I'm going to let you go so you can go take a deep breath.
Oh, darn, I was having too much fun. It's called Thrivers, The Surprising Reasons Why Some Kids Struggle and Others Shine. It's available on just about everywhere right now, or online in digital audio form or hardback. My website is michelleborba.com. I'm a 1L Michelle. My last name, Borba, rhymes with Zorba. So there you go. There's also downloadables that are free for discussion guides for teachers. So we can give this stuff in the hands of teachers, so we're all on the same wavelength together. And that's, you know, I think we need to kind of shrink the village a little bit so we can all realize we all make a difference in raising how our kids turn out.
Tell us the name of the book again. Thrivers, the surprising.
Thrivers is the surprising reasons why some kids struggle and others shine.
Wow, some teachers. Thank you so much, Dr. Michelle
No,
Borba.
thank you.
It was such a pleasure talking to you.
Likewise. It was fun. Thank you.
Get some rest now.
I'm too wired.
Oh, I know.
You got me all energized now. Thank you.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Have a good one. All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. You are listening to The Source. I know I have a couple of listeners on. We'll get them soon. 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
Okay, Purr's new fire potato chips and cheese curls. They are spicy. Whew, they're hottest snacks yet. Hold on. Whew. But you know, it's not just heat. There's some nice sweet and savory stuff going on too. Ooh, there's that heat again. It burns, but it burns so tasty. Ooh, that's hot. Find Her's Fire Snacks at your store today. Whew. Taste the flavor, feel the heat, break out the Hers.
WURD Radio celebrates Women's History Month with the 2021 Level Up Contest. Join us as we embark on a 3-city contest that will highlight Black women-owned businesses who are making a difference in their communities. You can nominate yourself or your favorite Black woman-owned business and enter to win a marketing campaign valued at $5,000. Level Up is a joint production of WURD Radio in Philadelphia, WVON in Chicago, and KJLH in Los Angeles. These 3 Black-owned stations are joining forces to host a historic, interactive, and multimedia contest spotlighting Black women-owned businesses in Philly, Chicago, and Los Angeles. The deadline for submissions is March 15th. Philadelphia finalists will be featured in a special 2-hour live on-air pitch party on March 31st, where the Philadelphia winner will be selected. Go to WURDradio.com and click on the Level Up banner for more information or to nominate yourself or a Black woman-owned business you love. The 2021 Level Up contest is sponsored by Comcast, Bank of America, PECO, Keystone First, Thomas Jefferson University, and Jefferson Health.
We do all we can to ensure our kids are happy, healthy, safe, and strong. Having high-quality, low-cost health insurance helps make that possible. With CHIP, your child can have medical, dental, eye care, and more for free or low cost. Whether you're self-employed, unemployed, or your employee benefits are just too expensive, CHIP is there for you to help your child be strong. CHIP Strong. Apply or renew today at 800-986-KIDS or go to chipcoverspakids.com.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. If you're just joining us, I just finished talking to Dr. Michelle Borba, who was talking about a book that she has called Thrivers, 7 Coping Mechanisms to Get Your Children to Go from Failures, my term, not hers, to successes in life. And it really comes down to parents doing a better job of giving their children coping skills versus telling them they have to pass the test and have a GPA to go off to college, and then they, whatever. Maurice, how are you?
Sorry for your loss, Mother.
Man, Maurice, that one hit me dead in my throat. Do you hear me? Dead in my throat.
I still cry every night for Cody because that's how much he meant.
Yes, yes.
And Joey.
Yes.
And Joey.
And Joey Dixon, yes.
Yeah, because what happened was when I started getting sick, those two brought life back into me. That happened maybe 15 years ago when I was losing it all. They brought me back to life, both of them. So, it's really, it's to me, I'm still looking in the mirror like, how could this happen? So I know what you're going through.
Yeah,
but I got to get back to reality because we still keep playing games. I don't play no games, Mother.
I know you. What's up,
I don't know if you heard me on Michael Kors, but I laid it down.
I didn't. No, I didn't.
Well, you need to check it out on the first call.
Okay.
But listen, he even says a segment out for me, okay?
Okay.
But let me break this down to you. The way COVID has been given out in Philadelphia for black people is atrocious. We're so used to getting crumbs that we don't even know what it's like to get a slice, so we praise the crumbs. Dr. Stanford is one of the greatest doctors ever, but she is not without fault.
Yes.
I'm just saying she's only human. And if anybody thinks that she walks on wings and like that, that's not true. She's a human being and she can be flawed.
Agreed. We all are flawed.
Yeah, but the city is the main problem, not her. They knew that people would be outside for that 24-hour marathon, and they made no provisions for black seniors to be outside. No portal potties, no warm buses, no tents, no nothing. So, we're so used to accepting anything they give us. We're happy for anything that we get. Now, you heard the Rite Aid thing.
I was just talking about that, yes. Oh,
that's
my
outrageous.
God.
It's so outrageous, it's abominable.
Yeah.
That's how outrageous it is. But most black people are like, it's just going over their head. Then you got people like Jacob that call you that want to blow sunshine up everybody's butt like he's crazy.
Why are you messing with my Jacob?
Because he's a fool.
He's not a fool. Don't call him a fool. I wouldn't let nobody call you a fool.
He's always coming on here claiming he's a Muslim, but he's always preaching words out the Bible. So I don't know where he comes from.
Well, you can't call him a fool, man. I don't let nobody call you a fool, man. Be nice to my people.
I've been called a fool a lot. I take that with pride. You know why? Because I speak the truth. And nobody can ever say anything I said on URD was a lie or I told a mistruth. Everything I say has been true because I research. I just don't get on here and talk. I research everything I do because that was my job when I worked in the correctional system. I was an investigator. So I reached some of the most diabolical criminal minds in this state of Pennsylvania. So I know what I'm talking about. And right now, City Hall Council, failure. The mayor, failure. All these people have let black folks down. If anything, the report you had today, they should be hounding and screaming. Our city officials running up the Rite Aid, talking to top management. What are you doing to the black folks here in Philadelphia? That's 40% black city, and only a small percentage is getting the vaccine? How is that even possible? See, I lived in white communities all my life, and I see what they get. I've been to white city council meetings. You get to direct your problems right to your council person, but not at our city council. If it's not on the docket, you better not open your mouth.
Yes.
See, that's when we call for Cheryl Parker, you ask Prince why he's all upset about her. If you look at her record and you see what's going on, you got to investigate. You just can't go by what I say. You have to do a little bit of investigation. You'll understand where we're coming from. I'm dissatisfied on how black people are being treated in this city. But it goes right over people's head because they're too worried about the royal family, some nonsense with that, like that has anything to do with us. Or they worried about some nonsense of why why the Republican Party, the Democratic Party has let us down. We have the power to get anything we want get done, but what? 2 members of the Democratic Party has decided to jump ship, and now all that voting we did to save the country, all that to give them the power means nothing because 2 white people want to decide, hey, we don't want to give them what they want.
All right. Well, thank you, my love. Let me take another because I got 3 other callers on that I got to get in before 2:55. Thank you for getting up, and he hung up. Prince, are you there?
Hey, how are you?
Martha's not so good today. What's going on, sir?
Oh, I didn't hear the beginning of the show. We just heard it sound like you were crying. So,
Lord. One of my friends died suddenly.
Yeah, we started summoning the troops.
Yeah.
And we found out you had a mighty loss. So our condolences.
Thank you.
I just familiar with the fund at the school district called 403B.
I can hardly hear you, Prince. You sound like you're breaking up to me.
How about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're moving. Are you moving?
I am.
Yeah, I can tell.
Hold on one moment. How about now? Can you hear me?
Much better, yes.
Yeah, are you familiar with the fund at the school district fund? It's called 403B.
The 403B, yes, I am.
Okay. So the fund was, and this is the specific or generality of the fund, but during a hardship or an immediate emergency, you should be able to withdraw from that pension fund, and you should be penalized, but you should have access to it because you pay into it during a hardship or immediate financial burden. COVID has been a hardship to most people, and it's definitely been a burden financially on most people. But the school district just put stipulation that you either have to retire or you have to leave your employment in order to get money from this fund that you pay into.
What?
And that's not that. If you could just look into that, because there's a lot of people in the school district who lives have changed drastically because of this pandemic financial situation. And next time you get, and maybe not be hyped, it might be the president of the union on, just ask them that question, because nobody's talking about ways to help us in this city right here. And that's one of the ways, somebody want to borrow some of that money to probably catch up on something. Or, this is declared an emergency, and it's declared a hardship. This COVID pandemic is declared, especially some people who are not eligible for some of the subsidies, the stimulus subsidies. If you can
I'll look into that.
And also, I got 4 points, but I'm going to just keep it to 2. There was, are you familiar with Ready, Willing, and Able? The
Yes,
people who wear the blue
I
suits?
am. In fact, one of my neighbors told me about Ready, Willing, and Able. I'd never heard about it until he told me.
Right. So there was a group designed in the Mount Airy area that will clean the corridors of Winfield, Washington Lane, all of the business corridors. There was a group developed and designed by the councilwoman, Ms. Parker, in that area. And so, and I think I had a grant for like $900K. And I'm asking the question: we can identify $200,000 in salaries and stuff, but where's the other $300,000 that's supposed to go towards equipment? And I'm asking the question because when we start talking about our politicians, and you get what you inspect, not what you expect. And I'm sure Ms. Reinhardt probably can't come on here now because she's campaigning for re-election. But after she gets done re-election, I'm sure you're going to have her back on or have her on. And we shouldn't have to request these audits, but since they're public information.
Are you suggesting that there's money missing?
I'm asking you a question. That prompts, when you ask the question, it prompts us to ask the auditor, the controller. And we ask the controller, because you don't want to accuse nobody because you don't see the equipment, $300,000 worth of equipment. You'd rather have it in the form of a line item, itemized breakdown, because I'd rather have this information before she show up with the information and say, okay, we can't find 200 guns, or okay, the school district spent this amount of money. You know what I mean? So we've learned not to be so proactive in accusing people. Just ask for the information. Now, we don't get the information, then that's a different story.
Okay, got you. Okay.
Yeah. And to my last point, I'm getting off. The Indeed app for people who are looking for jobs,
Indeed
is
app,
functioned by an algorithm. and it's so bad that the algorithm ties into almost an hour-long survey before you even fill the application out to get the job you're looking for. And I think we need a group to get together so we can eliminate that process. So African Americans, searching for the most remedial jobs like maintenance tech don't have to be inundated with an hour-long survey that's moved by algorithm. And I'm gonna hang up and I'm listening to you.
You're gonna make me work again, Lord Prince. Got me
Thank
looking you. You're welcome. All right, bye-bye. I'm going to take a quick break, and then when I come back, I'm going to take Jacob. My brother Jacob is on too. So let me take Jacob when I take a quick break, and then I'm going into my next segment. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
Hey folks, WURD members are invited to tune in every second Tuesday of the month with me, Nick, for a chance to win a book bundle of the newest releases from Kensington Publishing's culturally oriented Dafina imprint.
Hello entrepreneurs, especially if you're in the food delivery space. CBD is one of the fastest growing health and wellness categories out today. And as it is now legal, you can expand your customer base and increase revenues per ticket by using this as a specialty food offering. CBDmealsdelivered.com is now for sale and would be a perfect website to integrate with your existing food delivery website. Thank you.
Family Therapy Vignette Moments with Dr. Lucille Ijoy.
Intimacy and truth during pandemic times. The 4 kinds of love: sex, eros, philia, agape. The 3 ways to say I love you: information, intimacy, behavior. Information, intimacy, behavior. Remember, this is a pandemic time for the world. It's time to gather around and be truthful and real and honest and joyful. Hold hands and smile, for goodness sake. Don't forget the children, the teenagers, the older generations. Music and dance time is anytime, even if you hum or do the electric slide. Blessed assurance. I sing because I'm happy, Sam Cooke. Shake, or the Jackson 5. I gotta be starting something. Yes, dancing is allowed during pandemic times. Oh, happy day.
Lifting every voice till earth and heaven ring. This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Black Talk Media.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. Jacob, how are you, my brother?
Hey, peace be unto you, sister.
Peace
Andrea.
be unto you, sir. How are you?
Oh, I be blessed now, girl. Yes. Look, first of all, to my brother, I love him. I'm going to say keep hope alive. And, yes, I did. I listened to that, what he referred you to, Michael Cord's program, Michael X. And on that program, he was asked by Michael Cord, Michael X, are there any good black politicians? And he said no, but yet he lifted up Larry Krasner as a good one. So I'll leave that alone. But here's the deal. Here's the deal. I heard the hurt in your soul from learning of the death of your friend, right?
Yes, sir.
Let me say this here. The best therapy is truth about any matter, okay? Yes. And I know you'll say this here, right? If I asked you, does the Creator make any mistakes?
Not a one.
Okay, there we go. Now,
not a one.
To my brother Maurice, I'm going to go to the Quran on this one since I'm a Muslim. In that book, Allah says that he gives life and he gives death and he'll give you life again, right? So he said, that's my work, okay? So, and I know you know this, the Jamaicans have a saying, everybody want to go heaven, right? But don't nobody want to die. Right? Okay, you understand that saying,
I do,
right?
yes.
Okay, there's where we got to start working.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
I can understand your emotion on missing your friend, right? But if your friend was a good human being, your friend is promised paradise. Let me go to the Bible as a Muslim. Let me go to the Bible. Jesus said that in his Father's house there are many mansions. He said that there are many mansions, and you're going to get one if you get there. And he said if it weren't true, he wouldn't have told you so, okay? And, you know, when I hear people say that, you know, I'm a Muslim and I quote from the Bible and this and that, there's a saying of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, where he said that in the end of time, him and Jesus was going to be seen together. And there was no Apple 12s out there. I don't think he was talking about selfies, you know. So, you know, we can look at that. But, nah, you look at it, you're going to miss your friend. But if your friend's been a good human being, would you deny her streets paved with gold, a mansion not built by man's hands, a place where there's no crying, no dying, no suffering? Would you deny her that?
No, I wouldn't. And thank you, Jacob, because that's the reason why I'm on the air today. I kept saying, I'm going to take the day off. I need to grieve. I need to grieve. And I did. I grieved all weekend long. But I could hear her saying, listen, we started this. We're working together. You've always worked. Working is the best cathartic thing for you. So I came in all my vulnerability.
And you know what?
I feel better.
And you were human enough to show it. And that's what we need. We need to help each other in the human thing. And if you can't help, well, you need, you know, if you don't know, you need to ask somebody. But it's all good. Thank you for taking my call. But don't feel so bad because that's God's work, okay?
Yes, thank you, sir. I appreciate you. All right, bye-bye. All right. I know I've said this 1,000 times, and I'm going to say it 1,000 times more. The main reason why I am on this radio show is for the WURD list. I love them. I love you all. I love you. Even when we disagree, I love you all to pieces. And here they come. Here's Mama Francine. And here comes Amira. Mute yourselves. Mute yourselves. Open up your camera so I can see you. Oh my gosh, these children. I wish there's Heather. Hi, and Eileen. And Derek, oh my gosh, hi. Now you're all about to see how happy I get. And Amira and Nyla. Oh my God, I remember Nyla. And Jeffrey. Oh my gosh, is this everybody? Is everybody here? All right, let me introduce you. I am so stoked. Can you see my excitement? Do you remember?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I love these young people. All right, let me introduce you nicely, and then we can go all the way in, okay? This is what's good about Philadelphia school districts, y'all. These my people. Yes. Francine Daniels, founder of the Philadelphia Community Youth Court, is a mother, grandmother, prospective arraignment court magistrate, black belt youth advocate, and a restorative justice practitioner. She enjoys reading, drumming, crocheting, and sewing. Her favorite quote is, "Be the change you want to see." Francine Daniels, affectionately known as Mama, Auntie, Sister, or the lady in the courtroom, is the founder of the Philadelphia Community Youth Court. Y'all grab the people and tell them they need to come see this. You all are not ready. Amira Martin is a freshman at Central High School and the current secretary of the Philadelphia Community Youth Court. Amira aspires to be an attorney who fights for restorative justice. Amira needs to meet Keir Bradford Gray. COVID hit before we could make that happen, but we're going to make it happen today. Amira is extremely grateful for the life-changing experiences and close-knit community the Philadelphia Community Youth Court has given her. Heather, say your last name for me. Codelage?
Codelage.
Codelage. Okay, it's a senior, and I remember, Heather, I remember hugging you too. It's a senior at Central High School and the vice president of community relations for the Philadelphia Community Youth Court. Her aspirations include, but are not limited to, majoring in global studies and joining the Peace Corps after completing her undergraduate degree. To the Philadelphia Community Youth Court has awakened her spirit of justice, and she wants to spread justice everywhere she can. Nyla Phillips is a senior at Central High School and the past secretary. Hug Nyla too. The Philadelphia Community Youth Court. Her aspirations include, but are not limited to, majoring in psychology. The court has afforded her the opportunity to be sensitized to the needs of her peers and the ability to offer them support during their own challenges and experience. Is Jabril here? Is Jabril on the line?
Yes, that's me.
Hi, darling, you're so quiet. Is a 10th grade student attending Franklin Learning Center. Jabril serves as the Vice President of Administration for the Philadelphia Community Youth Court. Jabril has career aspirations to be a sports manager. One thing that he enjoys about the court is his ability to meet new people and help others while giving back to his community. Derek Cheeks is a 20-year-old Philadelphia native. Derek serves as the president of the Philadelphia Community Youth Court. He has hard earned his position. He has been an active and proactive member since the 6th grade. Wow. Currently, he's a sophomore at Lock Haven University studying Spanish and psychology. Lord, these children's gonna make me just so happy in these Wakandan streets. He plans to focus his career on restoring harm between youth and the city of Philadelphia while practicing law. Mia is a freshman at Central High School. She's a founding member of the Universal Institute Charter School Youth Court. She aspires to further her education, to further serve and build her community. Aline Martin is a 20-year-old Philadelphia native. Aline served as past president of the Philadelphia Community Youth Court. She's a sophomore at Anna Maria College in Paxton, Massachusetts, studying biology. Upon completion of her undergraduate degree, she aspires to obtain a master's degree and a Juris Doctorate degree. The Philadelphia Community Youth Court was founded in July 2012 as a pilot program designed to help eradicate the school-to-prison pipeline. The objective is to provide training for the development and implementation of school-based courts and a citywide community-based youth court in Philadelphia. Youth courts are programs in which youth sanction their peers for minor delinquent and school discipline policy offenses and other problem behaviors. Now that I got all of that out of the way, I'm going to shut that down and come on over here and give you all big group hugs. Hi, everybody. I love the young people. So, who wants to tell me? Now, we met on February 14th, Valentine's Day 2020. And somewhere between Valentine's Day and like a week later, the entire country shut down. My promise was to bring people in to come and talk to you. We're going to have to do all of this via Zoom now. But tell Marva, hi Marva, what has been going on since we last saw you? Who wants to start?
Derek, would you like to go or would you?
Mia, did I introduce you? Okay, I just want to make sure. Did I introduce you, Mia? Okay, all right. Who wants to go first?
So since the world completely crashed on March 13th, we've gone completely virtual. We kept the ball rolling. We didn't miss one beat because our peers are in need. So we went fully virtual, and we are 100% virtual right now.
Wow. So explain to people what happens. How do you get your peer in front of you? What is the process to get your peer from the infraction of getting into trouble, and instead of going through the system, they end up with you? How does that happen?
So what happens, Mother, is that we get referrals from the district attorney's office, from the school district of Philadelphia. We also get referrals from the community. Our home-based youth court is, as you know, at Universal Institute Charter School. So we have referrals that walk in right off the street. Really? Grandmothers and parents that say, you gotta do something with my child because I'm about to, you know what.
Wait a minute. So they were allowed to walk in right off the street and say, take this child before it's going to be a situation in some circumstances?
Oh, yes. We have community referrals all the time.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. And so when they get to you, what is the process that they have to go through so that people don't understand that this is a serious process, that they don't just come to you? Because I sat there, I watched the court session, and you all are not playing. Listen, it's interesting. So explain to people what the process is, Derek. So I'm looking at you now with your cute self in college already. Oh.
Hello, everyone. And first and foremost, on behalf of the Philadelphia Community Youth Court, Ms. Saunders, we wanted to offer our condolences to you because we did hear that you did just lose a friend. So we're here for you. You know that. But the process is that first, once a respondent, that's what we call them, the one who caused harm, they are brought into youth court, and first they are assigned. First we, as a court, we talk about the case. We see that if this case is worth being in front of us, because like you said, we are serious about what we do, right? And then once the court accepts the case, they're offered a youth advocate. And a youth advocate is also known as like their attorney, right?
Yes.
And then after that, the youth advocate, myself, and sometimes Mama, we'll sit down and have an interview with the respondent and the parent, just to let them know what is youth court, how it's going to help you. And we just talk to them about their statement of fact, about why they're here today, and just lay down the rules of the Philadelphia Community Youth Court. And then to remind them again, we do not play.
What is your success rate at the Philadelphia Youth Court?
100%.
I love y'all. Oh my God, 100%. Is that true? Is that 100% for real?
Well, we're actually right now we're at like 96%.
Oh darn, you close. You're close enough.
Come on, let's round it, Miss Saunders.
You're gonna round it out. Yeah, round it out. You can round it out. Yeah, 100%. So listen, Mia and Heather and Nyla, I met you. I think I met all of you. And Jabril, I remember meeting you, right? Who didn't I meet the first time? Aline, were you there when I saw you? You and you too. Okay. And Amira, I met you too, correct? The first time? Yes, yes. So tell people which one of you have been the youth lawyer for the respondent? Which one of you have played that role?
I have. We all played.
I believe that all of us have.
Okay.
We like to switch out the roles in order for all of us to gain a different experience and also to provide the most help to the respondent. So all of us have played all of the roles in our court.
Okay, so all right, Mia, since you chimed in, tell people what the youth advocate does. How do you work on behalf of your client, quote unquote, and what are the things that you all look at as you're working on behalf of your client?
Right, so during the interview with the youth advocate, the youth advocate learns whether or not the respondent is remorseful, what goes on at home, just to find out a bit more about this respondent. During the actual case, the youth advocate speaks on behalf of the respondent, and they explain in a short summary what they have learned during the interview. And they tell the court to pay attention to every single detail and whether or not this respondent is remorseful. And so they speak twice to the court before and after the questioning, and they speak just to let us know what's going on.
Right. Okay. So who have been? Thank you, Mia. Mute yourself now. So who has? Tell me about the process of being a judge. What does a judge actually do?
Well, the judge controls the whole court. Sometimes they can choose whether or not to sit in.
Go ahead, Amira. You.
I'm sorry, my screen froze. I thought that I saw.
Okay.
They can choose whether or not to sit in on an interview, and before the court, at least an hour prior, the judge and the bailiff have to make sure that they have all of the paperwork for the court, so it runs smoothly throughout. And then during the court, after the bailiff speaks and swears everyone in, the judge sets the ground rules, just like everything that's going to happen, everything, how everyone is supposed to act, how everyone's supposed to act inside the court.
Okay.
And throughout the whole thing, the judge just controls it, like you would in a court down at CJC.
Yes. Yes.
Exactly.
So I'm assuming that you all have been down at CJC, right? And I think Mama told me you all went to the Supreme Court. Did you go to the Supreme Court at one point? Who went to the Supreme Court? Ha! All right, Aline and Heather, you all tell me how that went and what inspired you when you went to see a Supreme Court case.
The Supreme Court was kind of life-changing for quite a few of the members because it wasn't really like a wake up, but it was like, this is all real. Like the work that we're doing connects on so many levels. It's beyond just working in our community, but we're impacting the whole country to extent, like restorative justice, and then being able to see how, yes, punitive justice is currently what's going on, but the change that can easily be made from punitive to restorative at a Supreme Court level. And just learning about the history of the law and getting to dive deep into it. And the best part is that we get to imagine ourselves there.
Yeah.
It's just so realistic for all of us.
Yeah. How many of you would like to become judges or lawyers as a direct result of being a part of the Philadelphia? I can only imagine. Nyla, what you want to do, darling, when you finish school?
I'm considering a plethora of things. Ever since I was younger, I think I've had my heart set on becoming a pediatric psychologist. You know, working with youth as I do now, and then continuing that as I get older, you know, understanding their behavior and their mind.
I love you all. Can I just tell you, I got on this radio station bawling my eyeballs out. When Brianna, my producer, said to me, the young people are at 3 o'clock, I stopped crying. I was like, I get to talk to them. I get to see your faces. You all light me up. All right. So now I'm getting ready to ask you a series of questions because we're on for a while. You see the violence in the city of Philadelphia. You see how many young people are impacted all the time. In your role as administrators in the Philadelphia Youth Court, what are the common things that you see every day come before you that could possibly lead to the violence you're seeing in the city right now?
I can start by answering that question. We get a lot of cases. When I say a lot of cases, I mean a lot of cases that have to do with cyberbullying, people exposing themselves on the internet, and like Mama says a lot of the time, once that type of stuff is out there, it's out there for good. Right. And it's very important that we teach kids, or what's the word I'm looking for? We inform kids on the dangers of this and how it affects people, and how it's just very dangerous. And so I'm a little nervous.
Oh, man, you talking to Marva. You cannot be nervous. You have seen me. I have broken bread with you. I have hugged you. I've loved upon you. We've done a whole Facebook Live. Come on now. Don't be nervous, Jabril. Tell us. So you see cyberbullying. What else do you see? Who wants to help your compadre out? Come on, Heather.
Violent cases, such as jumping.
Jumping? Say that again. Hold on, Amira. Say that, Heather.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead, Heather.
So we do see a lot of assaults.
Okay.
That is majorly the biggest kind of cases that we get. But that's just the overall, you know what I mean? Where we really try to dive a little bit deeper into the trauma, because, you know, there is a reason to this behavior, and that's our whole mission. And earlier what you said, like, we're trying to really bring these kids, like, they're already living this reality. You know, Philadelphia is nicknamed Killadelphia, you know, and we recently lost one of our own members due to gun violence over the summer.
Really?
Yes. So we're really trying to bring them into this reality and hopefully prevent future crimes, and through our resources and all of that. So we're trying to drill this into their minds now so we could save more lives in the future.
Yes. All right. I'm going to ask one more question, and Aline, I want you to answer this for me. When you get them in front of you in the Philadelphia Youth Court and you see the patterns, how do you divert them out of the path that they're on? Or do you just pray after they leave you and hope that they never get there again? What can the city of Philadelphia, and more importantly, the adults, do to stop these kinds of things from being pervasive, so that they, A, end up in front of you or end up dead on the streets? And I mean, that's just, you know, am I making sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I want to start by saying that we do pray before, during, and after, just all around. And it's not out of fear that these children will go to the prisons, or that they'll cause fear or harm in the environment, but we pray for strength, because a lot of times it's due to people wanting like instant gratification for being upset or insulted. And I don't know, like in our society, or just like our current generation, everyone wants everything at their fingertips because we have technology that does those things for us. So in youth court, we take the time to like slow everything down. Like this isn't something that gets resolved in 10 or 20 minutes. This is something that we look back into your past. Is it something that happened with your family or your friends? And I feel like the most important things that we could do as a city or as a country as a whole is to remember like that we are together. Like Mama says all the time that it takes a village, and we need to be a village at every level, at elementary schools, high schools, colleges, and beyond. So knowing that when you harm the community, you're not just harming yourself, but you're harming everyone and everything else around you, for one. And two, for as a city, for us to start practicing more restorative methods versus punitive. Because when we use punitive methods, we're basically pushing people away. And we've seen time and time again that it doesn't work. The statistics aren't there for that anymore. So it's time to start trying something new.
Oh, I'm going to take a quick break, and Mama, when I come back, I'm going to jump on you. we're gonna talk about your role in all of this, and you know, how can we in the city of Philadelphia help you to gain more access to some of these young people for restorative justice versus the punitive piece of it, and what is how did you get this thing going? Where we're still trying to get it happening in certain schools in the county. Philadelphia seems to be at the forefront of this. Hold on one second. Mute yourselves, all of you. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
Hi, this is John.
Hi, this is Juanita, owners of JD's Auto Body and Painting. We're located at 6300 Wayne Avenue, right there at the intersection of Wayne and Washington Lane.
We really like to thank all you WURD listeners for the support that you've given our business, and we really hope to see you in the future.
JD, tell them about our products and services we have.
We have a new state-of-the-art paint shop along with our body shop and detail shop. We can help you with the dents and scratches from the winter season.
Come to JD's Auto Body and Painting. Come on out and check us out. We're still honoring that WURD 10% discount. Give us a call, 215-848-5949. Again, 215-848-5949.
Thanks again for supporting our business. We really appreciate you.
See you at JD's Auto Body and Painting.
This literacy tip is brought to you by AARP Pennsylvania. If 2020 taught us anything, it's that scammers follow the headlines. And AARP Pennsylvania wants you to watch out for scammers taking advantage of the biggest headline, COVID vaccines. In the early weeks and months, expect limited supply of vaccines to be available only to certain high-risk populations. So, when you see an ad, email, text message, or you pick up a call and the offer is to resolve your vaccine for a fee, know it's a scam. Listen to your healthcare provider and health authorities for guidance and ignore all else. This literacy tip was brought to you by AARP Pennsylvania.
Livelihood. WURD Radio's new initiative, connecting Black Philadelphians with jobs, entrepreneurship resources, small business development information, and financial literacy tools. Learn more at wordworks.com. That's WURDWORKS.com. And stay tuned to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
If you're welcome back to The Source, if you are just joining us and you're on Facebook, honey, you are in for a treat. The participants of the, the Philadelphia Community Youth Court, led by Francine Daniels, Mama, as they like to call her. I call her Mama too. So there's Mama and Mother, and then there are all these young people that are a part of the Philadelphia Youth Court that are on to talk to me. I wish I could talk to you all monthly, so you could just give us a snippet of what's going on in the youth court. All right, Mama, so tell us what happened. How did you get started, and how did you recruit these young people? Is this your first batch, your second batch? How are you working them and navigating them out through the system?
Well, I started in 2013. I became certified as a prospective arraignment court magistrate, and I went down to CJC to meet the other magistrates, and I sat there all day and was just amazed at the number of people that came on the screen that looked like me. And I said, there has to be some kind of intervention or interruption of this path. I went home, I called my mentor, I spoke to him for a while, and he asked me, well, what are you going to do about it?
Mm.
And I started researching, and I came across youth courts, but there wasn't a viable program here in Philadelphia. So I looked outside of Philadelphia. I found a young lady by the name of Carolyn Dallas in DC who had one of the most, oh my God, her youth court was just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But she was also working with the city there, and she was on their budget and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
She took me under her wing like elders do, and she trained me on youth court. Mm-hmm. And a year later, I came back to Philadelphia, and I put the call out to the city of Philadelphia. All my sister friends, send me my babies. We're going to train up, and we're going to do a youth court.
Mm-hmm.
And it just grew from there. We went through a lot in Philadelphia. You know, Philadelphia is very, very political.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it was really important for me for it to have a legacy to the community, right? Whether I'm here or not, you know, the community has to be in charge of this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wanted to be intentional, and I wanted it to be sustainable. Mm-hmm. So every group that comes through, and a lot of kids come through just by word of mouth. Some kids were recruited through school district. Mm-hmm. Some kids are, you know, we just put a call out and say, hey, we're you know, they're interested in careers in law, you know, so they come in and they want to be a part. Mm-hmm. And we train them. We train them in our brand. So this group is a group that is a culmination of everybody, I think. Mm-hmm. This is our junior executive board. You know, I try to keep a nice blend of scholars that are on different levels, college students, students who are about to go in college, and then the group that is coming up through the ranks. So this is what you see here today.
How many people are in the youth court that are participants that have been trained right now in this cadre that you have? How many people are in the cadre?
I have about 150 kids in the city.
You better stop it.
Trained and certified.
You have 150 trained and certified young people?
I do. Yep.
I don't know why I was expecting you to say something like 22.
Yeah. Nope.
So
I have 100.
150. Explain to people the commitment that it took from you to do this. And then I want the young people to tell me and the WURD audience what mama means to you. I see it. I saw it myself. But I want you to tell the folks what mama has meant to you in your life since you became a part of the Philadelphia Youth Court. So what kind of commitment was it like for you, mama, to get it to this place?
Well, it was a labor of love. It was, you know, it was difficult. I learned oh my God, mother, I learned so much. But primarily it taught me how political the city was. It taught me that I had to be really resilient, that I had to be the change that I wanted to see. I had to be the change I wanted to see. And I had to model it in a way that children would be drawn to it and want to be part of it. I had to, you know, lean on my village and teach the principles of African philosophy. You know, even with the restorative practices, speaking from a place that restorative practice was a phrase that was tokened, but it really comes from indigenous practices.
Yes.
And we don't always reverence it like that. So it took a lot of grit. It took a lot of naysayers, people telling me, oh, you can't do it in middle schools because they're not mature enough. The children that were coming before were in this pipeline were kids who were Black and brown. And, you know, I brought mama to the classroom to teach. And, you know, just took it from there.
You took it from there. So interestingly, and it's so funny how things work themselves out through the National Cares Mentoring Movement, and I believe you are how I'm going to partner through them. We have a program called the New Way Forward and a wellness mentoring circle where we work with young people who may be in need. And I've been waiting on the Philadelphia School District to get a school to me so that we could partner. We will bring paid psychologists to the group and would work with them as they need. I think I'm going to do it through your group through your school.
Nice.
I met your dean, and so we'll be able to do it, but we'll be doing it online. It's an extensive program that is a national program, and all of it is African-centered. Every
Nice.
bit of it, right? So it teaches you all of the principles. And then what would be great is, as you all are doing what you do at the end of each year, when we do the Love for the Love of Our Children Gala, then Susan Taylor would bring you up to New York and love on you. And it would be great. It would be absolutely good. And you all are doing the work. And since you are getting the kind of young people into the court where you could say, you know, we'll put you through this, and we're paid counselors and therapists to work with these people, young people, right? And so I'd love to partner with groups of folks that are willing and able to do the work. And I don't have the stomach for the politics. So I'm going to work through you, Miss Daniels, Mama, and then the rest of you, and you can tell me who are the children that comes through the Philadelphia Community Youth Court that you would want to be a part of this. They would do their Zoom calls with because I think that is also a part of the issue, right? That wellness piece of having someone counsel them and work with them and listen to them and bring them to their roots. You know, that's the kind of stuff that we're talking about. So it's funny, I didn't think of it until just now, and we were literally saying we need a partnership in Philadelphia, and it's you. See how Jesus works? See how Black Jesus works? Black Jesus, we working out here. So now you all tell me, what has Mama, I know you all call her Mama. For the rest of you that are watching on WURD radio, her name is really Francine Daniels, but we call her Mama. That's what the children call her. What has Mama meant to your lives as a direct result of coming through this? I'm going to start with Mia, and then I'm going to Nyla. Is it Naila or Nyla? Nyla?
Yeah, it's Nyla.
Thank you, honey, because, you know, I can't stand messing up people's names. It's just rude. Nyla. All right, so I'm going to do Mia and Nyla, and then everyone else. But what has coming through this meant for you, and working with Mama meant for you?
I met her when I was in 6th grade, when she was just starting at the youth court at UICS. Mm-hmm. So she has taught me so much. I couldn't even imagine my life without youth court. It's such a big part, and the impact of not only the impact that we're making on the youth of today, but also what we're learning from this experience is so incredible. And she's really been there for everything. She's not only about, she's there for us personally, that we can reach out to her when we need her. She is someone that we can tell everything to, no matter what it is. And I just really want to thank you for that.
Mama, let me share this with you. I'm doing this on purpose. You have been working largely behind the scenes, and I've watched these young people love on you, and I now want everybody to see what you have meant to them and what you have created in the Philadelphia Community Youth Court. This thing didn't just pop up out of the sky somewhere. You put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this, right? And so your turn, Nyla. Tell Mama what this has meant to you.
Of course. So I want to start by saying I've known Mama, or rather Mama has known me since I was like a little thing, like a toddler, since I was 3. So already at a young age, she's been inspiring me and pushing me to be better, whether it just be as a mother figure in my life, in my community, and my dance and my martial arts teacher. So then come 7th grade, I was around 13 or so, I found out that she was even more amazing in a whole nother way that I knew nothing about at the time. And she has honestly introduced me to my lifelong family and passion of just helping the community, helping my peers, just helping the youth, and overall just becoming a better individual. I mean, first coming through youth court, I was a shy, timid little girl, and now, I mean, I have leadership skills, like very well spoken, just connections, just everything that I've gotten through this program, like I owe to Mama. She is a big part of my development, you know, not just on a professional and educational level, but in a personal way. Just as Mia said, she's there for us in all aspects, every part of our lives. So thank you, Mama, and I love you.
Nyla, I know this is Amira. Thank you, Nyla. Amira, what do you have to say, honey?
The way that I knew Mama was kind of the exact reverse of Nyla. Because I went to the school, Universal, and I knew of her in 6th grade, but I started to really know her in 7th grade. And I knew her as the leader of youth court. I didn't really No, she'll be there for me at any time that I need. She's a strong Black woman that I can turn to at any time. The way I knew her was, oh, she's saving the youth. She's out here doing all of this. So that's why I wanted to get into youth court. And then when I got in, I really realized, wow, she's amazing. She's always here. I love you, Mama. She's like, oh. Amazing.
And now I'm crying, but for a whole different reason. Y'all start the show crying and end the show crying. Jabril, your turn, honey.
I met Mama in 7th grade when my dad introduced me to her. And ever since that day, Mama's always been there for all my special events. Like when I had my Eagle Scout interview, Mama was there to help me out with my public speaking, get me to pronounce my words clearly. And I know that she's going to be there when I finally get sworn in to officially become an Eagle Scout. And I just love her, and she's always been there, just like she's been there for everyone else. But that's what mamas do. So
that's what mamas do. Miss Daniels, I know this is tearful for you, but I want you to know it's International Women's Day. And this could not have come at a better time for a better person. I can hear my friend Leah in my ears. You go, Andrea. Love up on mama. Because Leah was a mama, you know? And so your turn, Derek. Thank you, Jabril. Your turn, Derek. What has mama meant to you?
Mama's meant so much. But first, let me say that about International Women's Day, I started my day off by calling Mama this morning just to say Happy Women's Day, International Women's Day to her. So let's just start from there. But let's back it up. So I was blessed to know Mama when I was in the 6th grade. The 6th grader that didn't have his hat screwed on tight, the 6th grader that thought everything was funny, like that could not get serious. But when I met Mama through youth court, she switched all that around. Like now, I'm a sophomore at Lock Haven University. If it wasn't for Mama bringing me to Lock Haven, bringing me to the tours, bringing me to accept my scholarship, I would have never been here at Lock Haven, you know? So just in graduating high school, Mama's been at all of my graduations, middle school, high school, and then I know she's going to be at my graduation.
When you graduate from college, yes.
When I graduate from college, when I graduate from my graduate program, and when I finally get my JD, and that's only going to be on the behalf of Mama. But yeah, I love Mama. Like it's shaking me right now because like how much love I have for Mama, I really can't express through my words. But like Mama's just everything to me. Like she's everything, 100%.
I feel like Leah is down here talking to me. This was perfect. Mama, don't cry. Cry, but it's a good cry. Go on and cry. Mama. All right, y'all, go make me play a Mama song. All right, Aline, what do you have to say about Mama? What has she meant for you?
I met Mama my freshman year of high school, and I was a lot like Nala in the very beginning. I was very quiet, very timid. I wasn't sure what I was getting myself into. All I knew was that like I wanted to be a lawyer, and this is where I start. And from then on, my life has literally gone completely off track into a completely different outcome, I guess, because my whole life changed around the same time that I met Mama, to the point where restorative justice is like a common practice in my family, period. Like there's no other option, to the point where I would call Judge Daniels for interviews for my papers or letters of recommendations. The reason why I am so well known on campus, just academically starting there, is because of the things that she taught me. Like my professors recommend me to go and speak at academic symposiums through restorative justice, through the papers I wrote on having a community-based youth court. And then on a completely more personal side, Mama gave me the opportunity to create a family of my own by letting me into hers. And honestly, I wouldn't change that for the world. Like, Derek is my partner in crime. He is like my closest friend back home, and I love him. He is the reason that I get up some mornings. He makes me want to be a better person, and I would have never had that chance to meet someone like Derek if it wasn't for Mama.
I'm about to fall clean out. Okay, Heather, go ahead and let's just clean this up. You're the last one.
So I came in a little bit later than everybody else. I started the Philadelphia Community Youth Court in 11th grade, but originally I was in youth court from 7th and 8th grade. And I took a little hiatus in 9th and 10th, and I felt something was missing from my life. I felt it. I was struggling a little bit. I didn't know what was going on. You know what I mean? Like, this is like the transitional phase. And then somebody, recommended that I, sign up for the Philadelphia Community Youth Court. Best decision I ever made in my life. I remember speaking on the phone with Mama, and her energy, I was just like, what have I gotten myself into? Because it felt life-changing from the get-go. So I went through training, and I finally found my home. She gave me a village to lean on. I felt so alone, and I just want to thank you for giving me this platform to speak, because I felt like I wasn't being heard. And this is my forever family. This goes out to each and every one of you, because I love you so, so much. And just to be here right now, it's a blessing. And I love you so much, Mama. I wish I could give you a hug. I'm going to give you like a little virtual hug right now. I love you with all my heart. Thank you.
All right. All right. So hold on. I'm going to take one more quick break, and then we're going to talk about what does someone have to do to apply to become a part of the Philadelphia Youth Court. And then I need you to let me know who your partners are in this process, okay? Hold on one second. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065. Stop crying, Mama. Is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
I went to check on Pop today. We put our hands up to the glass as if we were touching. But really, the only touching part was that we both tried to smile.
That's no way to say hello or goodbye. COVID-19 vaccines are here, but until enough of us are vaccinated, we'll all still need to help slow the spread. Keep a 6-foot distance, wear a mask, and avoid indoor social gatherings. Learn more about vaccines and slowing the spread at cdc.gov/coronavirus. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
This is not a fad for us. We will not resume our regular programming when things die down. We're not black to help our bottom line or because it's politically correct. We're not joining a fight. This has been our fight, our message, our people. Black lives have always mattered here. We are undeniably, indefatigably, unapologetically, permanently Black Talk Media. WURD.
We do all we can to ensure our kids are happy, healthy, safe, and strong. Having high-quality, low-cost health insurance helps make that possible. With CHIP, your child can have medical, dental, eye care, and more for free or low cost. Whether you're self-employed, unemployed, or your employee benefits are just too expensive, CHIP is there for you to help your child be strong. CHIP Strong. Apply or renew today at 800-986-KIDS or go to chipcoverspakids.com.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
WURD Radio celebrates Women's History Month with the 2021 Level Up Contest. Join us as we embark on a 3-city contest that will highlight Black women-owned businesses who are making a difference in their communities. You can nominate yourself or your favorite Black woman-owned business and enter to win a marketing campaign valued at $5,000. Level Up is a joint production of WURD Radio in Philadelphia, WVON in Chicago, and KJLH in Los Angeles. These 3 Black-owned stations are joining forces to host a historic, interactive, and multimedia contest spotlighting Black women-owned businesses in Philly, Chicago, and Los Angeles. The deadline for submissions is March 15th. Philadelphia finalists will be featured in a special 2-hour live on-air pitch party on March 31st, where the Philadelphia winner will be selected. Go to WURDradio.com and click on the Level Up banner for more information or to nominate yourself or a Black woman-owned business you love. The 2021 Level Up contest is sponsored by Comcast, Bank of America, PECO, Keystone First, Thomas Jefferson University, and Jefferson Health.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. If you are just joining us, I don't know what to tell you. You're going to have to go record this and play it all over again. You are looking at Francine Daniels and the officers, executive officers of the Philadelphia Community Youth Court. I've had the experience of meeting them in person on February 14th. 2020, and then COVID happened and all the shenanigans. But they didn't skip a beat. They're still doing what they do. And with today being International Women's Day, it was perfect. It was like serendipitous that Mama was on. They call her Mama, on with these young people. She has been. There are plenty of mamas out in the community, and you know who they are. Give them their just desserts, please. Love upon them. They might seem like they're stern, but they're giving you what you need, the skills you need to be thrivers in community. That's exactly what you've done without putting it in book form, right, Mama Daniels? And so tell folks how people can apply to be an officer in the Philadelphia Youth Court, and then tell us who your partners are.
Okay, so in order to, we're actually right now we're running a campaign for recruitment to be members of Philadelphia Community Youth Court. We just interviewed, Mr. President Cheeks and I interviewed approximately 15 scholars this week, and we're starting a training tomorrow at 4 p.m.
Wow. Oh.
Yeah, but actually it just, all it requires is an interview and the desire to be committed and to want to be part of the youth court.
Okay, and how would they reach you if they want to?
So we can be reached via Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we are working on a new case management piece that people who want to refer, because I got a call while we were on for parents who want to send their kids to youth court.
Mm-hmm.
So also they can be referred in just through our process by emailing us at philacomyouthcourt@gmail.com.
So Philacom Youth Court?
Yep. 2 M's in com.
Okay.
At gmail.com, and that would initiate the referral process, and then we'll give you a link and we'll start the process from there.
So that's Phila, PHILACOMM, youth, YOUTH, court @gmail.com.
That is correct.
That's correct. Okay, and who are your partners? Can you all come back again?
Sure we can. Sure we can. You know, we listen, we love you to pieces.
Yeah,
our partners, we have been so blessed to have really, really strong strategic partners. I would be remiss not to shout out Chief Kevin Bethel from Philadelphia School District, the Office of Climate and Safety, who's been like one of our #1 partners since 2014. Also, we want to shout out the School District of Philadelphia, the District Attorney's Office, Faith Harris and Jordan King. But somebody who has been with us since the beginning of time is Principal Jeffrey Williams at Universal Institute Charter School.
Yes.
He has been, oh my goodness, just the right hand, the left arm, the right foot, right? And anything, and not just on the administrative piece, but also with the development and the building of the court. You know, they built me a full-fledged
courtroom. I saw that
courtroom at Universal Institute Charter School, which is just beautiful. Also, my sister, Lori Harris, who is the guru of restorative justice. She has been with me since day one, traveling to DC, you know, training, building, recruiting, you know, developing. And I would be remiss not to say the community. Because the community has loved up on us. And it just gives us fuel to keep on going.
All right, so Mama Daniels, I'm going to say goodbye to all of you right now, but I promise you this, from doing this interview today, more people are going to reach out to you. I would love to see the mainstream media interview you all, right? Because you've been out here doing the work very quietly. Not that we're not mainstream media. What am I talking about? Stop that, Andrea. We're mainstream media, you know, but more people, shine more light on what you all have been doing. And so, and you're going to get more people to call you about their children
Yeah.
This is what happens on this show. And then
Yeah.
I am going to reach out to the National Cares Mentoring Movement and pull a memorandum of understanding in. So you and I have to have a conversation around what this looks like. And I'd like the executive team to be a part of this process in doing the wellness mentoring with the psychologists and the counselors, because I think that would be a great asset to your program that you're currently doing. Thank you all so much. You have made a very sad, when I got on the air today, I was incredibly sad. I could not stop crying. Okay. And so seeing your beautiful, young, bright, vibrant, thriving faces just makes me so incredibly happy. And you better believe the same way mama believes in you, I believe in you. There's nothing better to me than young people. So any way we can support and help you as you move forward, you know how to reach us. Okay. Love you all so much. Mwah. Have a good day and love upon somebody when you get off the air. Okay.
Yes.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right, Michael, you're going to have to record this for me. Pull this interview so that people can listen to it on SoundCloud. You're welcome, Jeffrey. Oh, man. Wait, Jeffrey, you're the same one that's on my Facebook page? This is wonderful. I love people. I'm trying to tell you, if I don't recognize you when we get out on the street, just pull me aside. My voice. I was looking for a new dentist, so I put it on the social media page, and they gave me a list of dentists, and I started calling. Child, the people recognize my voice. I think I have a regular, normal voice, but apparently I do not. So even with the mask on, or even when I'm talking over the phone, they recognize it. I want to thank you all for loving up on me here in Philadelphia, even when I may not get it right the entire time. Sometimes I am wrong. I am more than willing to look back and do my research again and ask some more questions, because nothing is ever just black and white, right? And I am very aware of this. There are a couple of things that I want to talk about before I get off the air, and I just need you to know I'm on it, like I'm on the case. There has been some reports up in East Stroudsburg, near the university up there, that the students are being treated horribly on campus and off campus, specifically when they go out to eat in the town around their campus. People have been spitting in their food. It is 2021. I just need you to know I am asking some questions. I am talking to a few people. I want to interview Art Haywood, because I believe he is part of who is looking into this, that they're waiting for the universities to get back and answer to them. There's like 6 or 7 universities around that area that they want to get back to them around it. And I am on the case, because let me just tell you something. If our black and brown children are showing up in universities where as parents and family members and guardians, we are coming out of pocket and doing everything we can to make sure that our students are okay. And these students were smart as hell. They started recording the things that were going on around them. And so, you know, while we want to believe that everybody has good intentions and will do what needs to be done, I need you all to also, parents and guardians, to ask questions. We're in a weird kind of battle. The civil war of yesterday is not, of today is not the dogs being sicked on you. It's not the fire hoses. It's the marginalizations. It's the school to prison pipeline. It's the, well, you get to college and we don't want you in our town and we don't want you on our campus, so we're going to spit on you, or we're going to tell people this is not where you belong. Those kinds of things. And it's not just happening up there in Middle State, Pennsylvania. It's happening everywhere. So you want to really fully pay attention. Amanda Gorman, the poet that everybody was lauding when she spoke at the presidential inauguration, had a security guard tail her home and accuse her of not living where she lived. And so I tell you guys all the time, really pay attention to what's going on around you, and always have a small cadre of people that can love upon you and protect you. Tomorrow is my brother Mike's birthday. Mike on the ones and the twos, the technical producer. Tomorrow's his birthday, so we're going to play a little Stevie Wonder for him in the morning. He's coming over to the other side, honey. And so I would like to welcome him when he gets over here. I want to thank you all for continuing to send me the information. I am going to look up the 403B plan and with the School District of Philadelphia. I'm going to look up what's happening with this the Ready, Work, Willing, and Able program, where they're talking about, $900,000 was given out, and and $200,000 is all they can account for. So that's going to be Rebecca Reinhardt. So I have to reach out to her office, because I don't do accounting and I don't do audits. So I just want to get the answers for the folks. I can't thank you all enough. To my husband, Lord have mercy. I could not lift my head all weekend long, and I very rarely talk about my husband here, but I have a cadre of family, and my diva daughters all have been bringing me dinner. They're all bringing dinner this whole week for me so that I don't have to cook. When you love people, when time comes for you to go through and deal with things, people will love you in return. Find the good. Find the good. I tell you all this all the time. Find the good that is in other people. It's okay to say I'm wrong. It's okay to apologize when you may not have gotten it right the first time or the second time or the third time. The thing is that people want to know that you are vulnerable enough that you can say, I am sorry. And that's okay. Oh, Lord, brother, spread love. I got 1 minute. Hurry up, sir. 1 minute. I got to get off the air. You're going to get me in trouble.
Selassie, I live Jah Rastafari. Mama would just call and say comfort and condolence in a Jah Christ. See?
Yes, sir. Love you. Thank you so much.
It's General Empress Harriet Tubman's birthday today.
All right now. Thank you.
So let's give some love to all the women like her and yourself, all right? And God bless Brother Mike. And give me the mic and I'm going to make it all right. More love.
All right. One love. Bye-bye. All right. So I'm going to end the show with this. A woman who walks with God will always reach her destination. Happy Women's Day to all the fabulous women out here. Coming up next is Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders. I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.